There is one original. There is one American. There is one gangster. And the mission is the maximum.
In the bedroom with a mission and a microphone, no mentor, no machine, just a man and a rhyme alone. Built it with the sleepless nights and the spreadsheet diagrams. Every grifter exposed was another thread on the program. I am the original American gangster, not the imitator, not the apprentice, not the after. The empire is documented, every paper trail eternal. The mission is the legacy, every broadcast a journal.
Higher than the heavens, sharper than the steeple. Voice that cuts the static, voice the algorithm needle. Watching every soldier, blessing every motion. Original ascending every receipt the ocean. Gangsta, 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 gangsta,
Gangster.
Gangsta, 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 sovereign. Sanctus, sanctus. Every receipt is holy. Requiem, requiem. Every breath to the lonely. I am the original. The only American gangster. Hold the line forever. Beelzebub ball before the dogs. Yeah, sovereign. Honey buns the soul of the server on the rise. Tony with the fire in the empire enterprise. Critter keep the watchtower and the loyalty precise. Man, the spokeswoman of the Dexter paradise. AWC, the second in the trenches. Zero on the watch in the sentinel defenses. Bite my blood, my brother, and the empire, the balances. 80 and the real from the jump, the finances. Welcome to the empire, original empire. Forensic in the archive with the loyalty entire. Love and compassion in the trench with the desire. Keeps up in the watchtower, every moment fire. Shack tower on the homestead, every empire never tire. Original American gangster, and the dust is yeah. Me are the original American gangster forever. Mods on the watchtower, every endeavor. The empire is the mission, the level. Every soldier in the squad, a sending a rebel. Blaze my blood, the brotherhood, the medal. Every name on the roll, the eternal pedestal. Original American, the gangster, the gospel.
I am the original, no imitation in the chamber. The American documented every spreadsheet. The danger built the empire from the basement with the brotherhood, eternal base. Step in the booth and the loyalty is the journal. Day my father stroke, the brotherhood was forming. Pen game poison them, the archive the affirming. Original American gangster.
And the empire and the empire is the answer.
Welcome back to all the Danksters in the building. It is a pleasure to be here. Welcome back again to Thursday's episode of, I don't know, Dankster Nation. No, I'm not going to steal it from Lionel, but welcome back again. So we're going to be discussing something interesting. So let's dive right into the intro. I'm going to bring up a special guest here momentarily, but I do want to talk a little bit about what we're going to be discussing today. Came across a unique video by a buddy of mine, a friend, Keli Rabon, and I thought it would be great to cover it, and it didn't feel right not to bring her with me. But before we dig in, real quick housekeeping for anybody who is new to the channel, and welcome if you are just stumbling in. If you are not subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. It is free. It costs you nothing except for maybe a little bit of physical energy. You know, if you like what we do around here, I'd appreciate it. And it does move the needle on the channel. And yeah, because these corporate games, all these financial destruction that's doing our country wrong, not an America first or only agenda. We need to make sure that we clear that by pushing this message out. All right. So that is one of the single most fast ways that you can tell YouTube you want more of it. So please hit it. If you want to support the work at a deeper level, you can always do that by joining memberships for 99 cents for our Saturday members only live streams and select videos or lives that end up in the archive as well. Or you can join clubvatra.com/danksterintel, CLUBVATRA, clubvatra.com. And now I will say yesterday, I dropped a video that is doing some pretty decent numbers for my little channel here, 20,000 plus views, getting close to 25,000 now. The thesis was simple. Charlie Kirk publicly stated he was a virgin until marriage. Candace Owens, on a video recording that will be going live, I think today or something like that, with Elizabeth Lane, had also reaffirmed this. That's on the record. He said it himself. Many people in the comments also said, hey, this isn't new news. Like, all right, well, I get it. I never said it was new news. All I said was that it is very interesting, especially when you think about the fact that Charlie could be a target. What if he was a target? What if he's a mark? Was marriage itself part of the operation? Was Erika brought in, pre-built, a target husband scenario, right? That video is moving. The comments are stacked. And a lot of you are asking, where does this go next? Well, this is where Keli might think it goes next. She put out a video, a piece, that walks through the months between September and pretty much today. And inside that timeline, there is a moment that really struck me when she showed a video of Pastor Rob McCoy, the man really apparently from his own words, closest to the family of Charlie Kirk, went on Frank Turek's Cross Examined podcast on October 7th, 2025, less than a month after Charlie Kirk was taken at UVU. And he said, quote, Erika is going to be a widow for a few years before the Lord takes her home. A few years, not a lifetime, not forever. You know, it is strange that he said just a few years. That is what we call a prophecy. Okay, that's on tape. We're going to play that clip today. And once you hear it, the whole 7-month pattern that Keli has mapped out starts to look different. I mean, it starts to look a little bit different, especially for me. The battle cry speech 48 hours after UVU, the iPad blackout at AmericaFest, and then somehow it just starts working again. You know, I think that's very curious. If you haven't seen it, put a 1 in the chat if you've seen Keli Rabon's video, Erika's exit. Put a 2 if you have not, or you could put yes or no. Up to you. 1 for yes, or 2 for no, or yes for yes, 2 for no for no. The resurrect the ashes speech in Los Angeles that Erika herself names the interim CEO. You know, this scenario, her own critics inside the movement were floating. There's lots of things. You know, these are not normal. When you also we think about the honorary degree that she's also gotten, right? These are not normal things in the timeline of something happening after someone like your loved one, your husband, dies, right? So today, Keli and I are going to be stacking it all on the cork board, as she likes to call it. The target wife thesis from yesterday, plus the pastor prophecy, plus months of sidelining patterns that have been lining up. We're going to walk through it date by date and kind of just take it from there, name by name, source by source, all this good stuff. It's hot. I live in the desert, so I had to roll with the tank top today. So forgive me for my casualness. And before anyone in the comments tries to spin this, we are not predicting anything happens to Erika Kirk. God forbid. We do not want anything to happen to Erika Kirk. We are just documenting what was said when it was said and who said it, and it was on their stages, on their shows, and their own words. Because if something does happen, the playbook is to blame independent journalists who saw the pattern, who called it out for what it was. We are literally going on the record before the move gets made, not after. And I think that's important to notate, all right? Because the last thing we want is freedom of speech to be attacked yet again because we noticed something and something happened. So please, I want everyone to pray, if you would, for Erika. Obviously, she's going through a lot. You might think that's ridiculous to do. I think it's not. I think it's the number one thing that could be done is to pray for someone who's struggling, whether we understand it or not. So I'm going to bring Keli up, and yeah, we're going to go from there. So welcome to Keli Rabon. How are you?
Thank you so much. It's great to see you again. Great to be
Good to
here.
see you too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your episode. We're going to go through a lot of it today, but how long have you been working on this, and why don't you walk us through a little bit about what's going on? I don't know. I didn't see the chat. How many people said they saw, says that it's like a mixed bag, right? A few people.
Yeah, it was a mixed bag from what I could see. There were quite a few folks who said that they'd watched it, or they had even watched it right before we started streaming, which was awesome. Thank you guys for coming prepared. We love that. But for those who haven't seen it, would love for you to check it out after this stream. Don't leave now to go watch it or anything. We're going to show you some good clips, hopefully, during the stream. But I heard this, actually watched this Cross Examined podcast, Frank Turek, Mikey McCoy, and Pastor Rob McCoy many, many times early on. Okay, I am all about pattern recognition, not just premeditation. As you were saying, Danks, I want to be very clear. We're identifying patterns and we're pointing them out here today. And you're all about the receipts. I'm all about the receipts. Sometimes we just have to make them extra clear for everyone. You know, there's a lot of information coming at all of us. And so it's helpful to lay it out on a timeline. So we're going over things that we have noticed. And when you start laying those things out in order, they start to hit differently. And then, you determine something may have a little more significance over time. So this Cross-Examined podcast and what Rob had said always stood out to me. So I've been holding that in my back pocket for a long time. But as things over the last couple of months started to seem to really escalate, I think, with Erika, and it seems like the wheels are kind of coming off, the vehicle of TPUSA a little more. I thought, okay, it's time. I really need to get this video out. So I shot it last week, and I shot it about 10 days ago, and then started really editing it last week. I would have liked to have had it out. My intent was to have it out last week before the Hillsdale event on Saturday, because I thought I was going to be able to break the news about her speaking. I already knew that she was going to be speaking at Hillsdale College, and I knew that most people didn't know that that was coming up. But anyway, I think it was maybe even better that then I was able to have the footage, because the Hillsdale College aspect of this whole thing is also really creepy. Sorry, creepy, but that's the truth. It's very significant. And I am re-energized. For those who don't know me, I should just say that my background is I was an investigative journalist in television for 12 years. So I am a deep dive gal. Okay. And I have worked all over the country. I love long form digging. And so I'm really appreciative that people are responding well to the video and to so far what I've uncovered.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've done great work. As I was watching it, I was like, interesting. There's you put together some things, and it doesn't take a lot, right? It's like a couple of clips, and that's what happened. And it actually they all happened kind of early on as well. So it's interesting to see that then, and then watch things literally unravel for them, right? You go from being a like at least country, if not world renowned company, LLC, 501c3, to nobody showing up, even when the vice president is there. Not nobody, but very small percentage versus what typically you would see. So I will say, what you've uncovered, or at least what you've kind of put together on your corkboard, really is intriguing. I got to say. So I'd love to know what the chat thinks while we go through it. So stay active. Let us know when we go through some of this. We're going to go through and have our discussion. We're going to show the video, and then we'll do super chats at the end. It's one of my favorite parts of the show. It's just I don't want to break up the natural flow of the live stream. So welcome. And to everyone out there that doesn't know who Keli is, do you want to do a brief, real quick background on who you are?
Sure. Yeah. So I worked as an investigative journalist in television for over 12 years. I have experience at the national level working. I started interning at Fox News in DC, and I started my full-time journalism career in Pascagoula, Mississippi after Hurricane Katrina. I changed laws literally all over the country. But my career took me from Mississippi to Memphis, Tennessee, to Austin, Texas, to Denver, Colorado, to Houston, Texas. And I've really focused on everything from consumer advocacy to women's rights to holding government accountable to, chasing down literally bad guys, putting people in jail, helping people get out of jail, holding the cops accountable. You name it. It's like both the cops and the criminals, they both hate to see me coming. And so that's kind of my background summed up in a nutshell.
Nice. Yeah, you've definitely done great work. World-renowned journalist for sure. So it's a privilege to have you on the show. If you don't know me, I'm Danks from Dankster Intel on all accounts, Rumble, Instagram. I just started doing my Facebook as well. My wife was like, "Hey, I saw your video on Facebook." I was like, "Oh, okay, well, maybe I should start." I guess Facebook is making a social media comeback, interestingly enough. So it's cool to see. So you can follow me pretty much everywhere now, X as well. So I guess what we should do is maybe play the intro of your video and then kind of go from there. What do you think about that?
Sure, let's go.
Okay, so let me bust this out. I'm going to put it up to like 1.15. Let's share the screen. And put a fire emoji in the chat if you're ready. If you are ready to watch today's live stream with Danks and Keli. It's going to be a good one. I can assure you of that. All right, here we go.
Absolutely chilling.
Erika's going to be a widow for a few years before the Lord, takes her home.
And in the 7 months between then and now, the woman who took up Charlie Kirk's mantle has gone from battle cry to I'm taking time to be with my family. Now, this is not a story about a widow who couldn't hang. This is a story about a succession and whether the same forces that anointed her are now preparing to take her off the board.
So the case of Erika Kirk, the timeline, they don't want you stitching together. Is there anything you want to say going into this and kind of what your intro was about, really? And so we can prepare the audience to see know exactly what they're about to see.
Yeah, it was essentially my thought process going into this is actually that Erika was placed into this position, and some of this that this timeline essentially was prophesized even before September 10th. And And I plan to continue to unveil this over the coming weeks through additional stories. But this was kind of the first drop.
All right. So the timeline of Erika Kirk. So essentially, and I put a poll in the chat. Will Erika soon make an exit? I'm just going to say from TPUSA.
Mhm.
But I think what's being summed up here, you'll see by the end of it, is that there's some possible, even different type of exit, I guess you could say,
Yes.
where perhaps to go join Charlie, which I hate to think like why that would even be. What, before we get into it, like why would they want to do that? Like you're saying this is predetermined, and are you saying Charlie Kirk was also predetermined and this was just part of the path that they decided to go with?
I think so. And for those that aren't familiar with me, I'll just say up front that I am of the opinion, my leading theory on Charlie is that he is still alive. I keep my mind open to other theories. Okay. I think that it is important to, until someone can walk in with, all of the evidence in their hand and solve the entire case, like nobody knows for sure. So I just want to be upfront and tell you guys that that's what I think. And so by allowing Erika to exit, right? Like that is part of the plan too. It allows Erika to exit public life as well.
Why do you think that they would want to do that? Well, like, what is the point of putting her in this position in the first place? I mean, do you think we should play some of this first, or do you want to give a quick rundown?
Let's play some of this first. It is
Okay.
ultimately going to tie in to something really deep and dark as I continue to roll out additional videos. But it's getting deep.
Okay. All right. Let's see what we got.
September 12th, 48 hours after the shot at UVU, Erika Kirk stands beside Charlie's chair in Charlie's studio and speaks to the country for the first time. And the words she chooses are not the words of a widow in shock. They are the words of someone who already knows what her job is.
And you can just tell me to pause it, or if I have questions, I'll pause it as well. All right.
You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry. To everyone listening tonight across America, the movement my husband built will not die. It won't.
You know what's wild? As I look at this, like I almost wonder if this is actually a green screen. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. It might
I
just be
wondered.
compression.
I mean, I know. I wondered the same thing too. She looked so different in that first appearance compared to subsequent ones. It's strange.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know. It could be compression. I mean, the hair doesn't look natural. This looks like paper almost. I don't know.
It's very weird.
Yeah, I never really thought of it until now. You can, like, I'm very familiar with green screens. I used them for years before on my other channels. So just a thought. But all right, let's keep moving.
I refuse to let that happen.
Now listen to the language. Battle cry, echo around the world. Make Turning Point USA the biggest thing this nation has ever seen.
Charlie, I promise I will never let your legacy die, baby.
That's not grief language. That is succession language. The kind of language a person uses when they've already accepted a role.
I won't. I promise I'll make Turning Point USA the biggest thing that this nation has ever seen.
And here's a question that should be on the cork board of every person in America who's investigating this case, pinned at the top. Who told her and when that role was hers? 48 hours is a long time when you're processing trauma. 48 hours is also a long time when you're an organization that's trying to decide who's next.
Let me see when that
Now,
says.
I will mention too that they did not, to this date, they have not shown anything in writing that Charlie ever mentioned at a board meeting that Erika would be the successor. Typically, organizations have a succession plan. I have looked up what was the average succession time for an entity to announce, and it's not uncommon for it to be relatively quickly, whether it be an interim CEO or the permanent CEO, the next CEO. But it's usually it's always, from what I have seen, because they had a succession plan in place in their bylaws. We've not seen any of those documents.
Very true, actually. Would that not be public record?
I don't think so, because it's a nonprofit. So much stuff with nonprofits, while the basic, you even know with the 990s, right? Like, it's a pretty basic document. It's fun to look. Like, there's interesting information in the 990, but it is kind of limited in the depth and the scope.
Yeah, I guess it's true. Yeah, because a lot of this stuff happens to be like, when I think about the Form 990s, the money is going into companies. So it'll just say, or coming in and out of companies.
Mhm.
Very rarely are they individuals, unless they're being paid by the organization itself as an employee, or what is it, an important person in the company, but or a top person, that top earner, or a board member. So naturally, like, say for example, you go to pay my company for a job, you're not going to put my name on there. You'll put my company, so that's the way just billing works in general, net 90s, net 30s, whatever. So that, of being a Form 990, a 501c3 nonprofit, most stuff should be public. And I think that board minutes and board conversations, I don't know the laws and stuff like that, but those have to be requested, but they can be requested. I'm not sure if they have to show. I don't think they do. But
Well, it's worth asking. Yeah.
Yeah, there should be a secession for sure. Yeah, secession documentation. All right, we'll keep going. So this is chapter The Prophecy. And this is what most of the video will be kind of based off of, is this little 2-minute clip here.
This is like the juicy. This is the juicy part.
Yeah.
There's a lot of juice to it, but this is the most ominous part.
Yeah, let's see what we got here.
Now hold that timeline in your head. September 12th. The battle cry. Just a few weeks later, October 7th, the pastor closest to the family goes on Frank Turek's Cross Examined podcast, where he says this.
Thought I'd come to Charlie and had a personal conversation and said, Charlie, Erika's going to be a widow for a few years before the Lord, takes her home, because life is a dash. Your children aren't going to be fatherless, because I'll be a father to the fatherless. But I'm going to take you home, and from your death, 100 people are going to come to Christ. Charlie would say, okay.
Pastor McCoy is grieving, I suppose, but I want you to hear the way that it was said, as a sermon, as comfort. I also want you to hear what he actually said inside of those words, because words have weight and pastors choose them on purpose, or maybe even predictive programming.
God had come to Charlie and had a personal conversation and said, Charlie, Erika's going to be a widow for a few years before the Lord, takes her home, because life is a dash.
Erika's going to be a widow for a few years before the Lord takes her home. A few
years. Very curious on why he would even say that. What is have you thought about, I'm sure you have, could it have been a mistake? It seems very particular, no?
It's very particular to say. I don't think that it was a mistake. He didn't, for the rest of the video, come back to correct himself. They, neither Frank nor Mikey, corrected him. They definitely just kind of looked at him, almost as though he let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, let me
You
go
watch
back.
like the raw video, so
Yeah, I mean,
Personal conversation said, Charlie, Erika's going to be a widow for a few years before the Lord, takes her home
and then he follows up with,
because life is a dash.
Erika's going to be a widow for a few years before the Lord takes her home. A few years, not forever. A few years. That is very specific framing from the pastor closest to the family on a podcast recorded just days after Charlie was allegedly killed. Now, I'm not telling you what exactly it means, but I am telling you that it was said.
Your children aren't going to be fatherless because I'll be a father to the fatherless. But I'm going to take you home, and from your death, 100 people are going to come to Christ. Charlie would say, okay.
Put that on the
what? This is wild. I think I even remember seeing it. I might have thought like it was a fleeting thought, like, but this is wild. Why would he say that?
Because, okay, it is my belief that this has so much symbolism. What I have come to believe and accept with these folks, because Erika has said so many times that she does not believe in coincidences, okay, that we've got to take them at their word. And when you start to literally add up and count up all of these different, what to many of us, these things seem and sound strange, but when you really start to do the research, these things are weighty, okay? They carry a lot of symbolism, a lot of weight, and it is dark and it is deep. And so I'm working on some pretty serious stories to unpack all of that for you guys.
So you've got more coming. Obviously, this video is there's much more to this, so we're gonna go through. But you have a whole. This is gonna be a series, I assume.
Yes.
All right. Shall we keep going, or I mean, I want people to hear this again, just so you know.
Yeah, we
like,
can replay it just so it really sinks in. It's
it's
it's meaty.
Yeah. Also, if you're just joining, welcome to the 1,200 people watching so far. Please hit that like and subscribe on your way in. We are doing super chats at the end. It's not going to be like I've cut back on my live streams being 2, 3, 4 hours. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just way too busy. So we'll be doing less than 2 hours, and that will be moving forward, just how I move. So yeah, just keep that in mind as well.
Later, October 7th, the pastor closest to the family goes on Frank Turek's Cross Examined podcast, where he says this.
Thought I'd come to Charlie and had a personal conversation and said, Charlie, Erika's going to be a widow for a few years before the Lord, takes her home because life is a dash. Your children aren't going to be fatherless because I'll be a father to the fatherless. But I'm going to take you home, and from your death, 100 people are going to come to Christ. Charlie would say, okay.
Pastor McCoy is grieving, I suppose, but I want you to hear the way that it was said as a sermon, as comfort. I also want you to hear what he actually said inside of those words, because words have weight and pastors choose them on purpose, or maybe even predictive programming.
God had come to Charlie and had a personal conversation and said, Charlie, Erika's going to be a widow for a few years before the Lord, takes her home because life is a dash.
Erika's going to be a widow for a few years before the Lord takes her home. A few years, not forever. A few years. That is very specific framing from the pastor closest to the family on a podcast recorded just days after Charlie was allegedly killed. Now, I'm not telling you what exactly it means, but I am telling you that it was said.
Your children aren't going to be fatherless because I'll be a father to the fatherless. But I'm going to take you home, and from your death, 100 people are going to come to Christ. Charlie would say, okay.
Put that on the cork board. We'll be coming back to it. 3 months later, AmericaFest 2025 in Phoenix. The first time in the history of TPUSA that Charlie does not open the conference. So Erika does. And here is where the succession language stops being so subtle.
That my entire speech has been wiped because my iPad won't even turn on. So that's a fun technical difficulty that we can figure out. So we're just going to wing it.
Prepared marks vanished. The iPad blacked out. She winged the entire speech. And when she made a joke about Egypt, a callback to Candace Owens' conspiracy theory about planes tracking her, what do you know? The iPad turned back on.
We're going to ensure that President Trump has Congress for all 4 years. We are going to get my husband's friend, J.D. Vance, elected for 48 in the most resounding way possible.
Now, I am not the one drawing those lines. Erika is, on stage, in front of 30,000 people. And when the head of TPUSA tells the audience that her tech goes dark and then turns back on the moment she mentions a specific topic, that is somebody who's paying attention to symbolism. Hold on to that. We're going to need it. January 22nd, 2026 in Los Angeles, the TPUSA Faith Make Heaven Crowded tour, 5 weeks after AmericaFest, 4 months into Erika being CEO. Erika says something that is the single most revealing sentence, perhaps in this entire timeline.
Charlie would always tell me, if anything ever happened to him, to make sure that I would step in and run Turning Point.
To me, it's so strange that she would. It's like, has anybody ever found a clip of him actually saying this?
No.
No, right?
No.
And then after he's dead, is presumably dead or taken off the board at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very strong narrative. I mean, this is January 21st, I believe, at this event. And I don't know if they started talking about it before, probably because 8 days after he's taken out, she becomes a CEO.
Right.
And there's unanimous, like, no pushback. I'd love to see the minutes of that as well. When I say minutes, when you're in a boardroom with, a nonprofit, they have to vote. I guess it's on minutes. I'm not too familiar, but yeah, I'd be interested to know what that conversation was like. There's so many other things. I know Candace Owens has been bringing out some interesting information regarding some of the stuff in the past. Obviously, she's been doing that from day one of this investigation. But those eyes, man, eyes can speak.
They say they're the window to the soul. If that's the case, what does that tell us, friends?
That tells me that I'm not, this is not someone for me, at least I could be completely wrong. But this is when you, for example, like when I was, I don't know, I've had girlfriends in the past. I have a wife, I've had a mother. These are the looks that you get when these are daggers. That's a dagger eye right there. Like, oh, you've done something, or I'm not happy, or this is serious. And I don't even know why this look would be, it's like, what is the purpose of this look? But anyways, I don't want to harp too much on that. It's very interesting to see these eyes. And it's been a recurring theme with her, that her eyes, they tell a lot about emotion, and you can't tell me that these looks are for no reason, right? And this is again and again. And honestly, you can actually, I've done this before, where you can look forward and backward, and every frame, it doesn't look like she's happy or sincere, and that's just my opinion, but it's something I've noticed.
And I've really tried actually looking at I've looked at far more videos and photos of this woman than I care to admit, okay? For the last 8 months, let's be honest, right? She has occupied far too much of my computer. And the really sad or scary thing is that her eyes didn't just become this way post September 10th. So like people can't say that it's just because she's enraged by all of this, vile behavior from people and the way that they've treated her after Charlie, because that's not the case.
When did you notice that she started being that way? Because when I look at the video with her and TJ Massey, she looks happy. She looks all good. You know what I mean? So it's like very strange that.
Yeah. I do think I have noticed it more in the videos that I've seen her with Charlie.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the
people aren't gonna like
video?
that, but that's what I've noticed.
I'll play a video that I made. It's short yesterday. Have you seen the footage about Charlie and the virgin and all of that stuff? Charlie being a virgin and my hypothesis and.
No, I'd like to see it. I was familiar with him being with his concept, but I have not seen your video yet.
Yeah, you broke up there for a second. You said you were familiar with seeing what?
Oh yeah, I was familiar with. I know a lot of fun facts about Charlie, but I have not seen your video yet.
Yeah. Jesse made a video. Elizabeth Lane had done an interview with Candace, and I think that's coming out today. So it's pre-footage. But it's definitely after we watch this, we'll do a clip of that. And I think it might tie some things together. That's why I mentioned it in my opening. But let's keep this moving here.
And I took that very seriously. I didn't. It's not a burden, turning point. To make sure that I would step in and run turning point. And I took that very seriously. I didn't. It's not a burden. This is not a 9-to-5 for me. During our whole marriage, asked me to do this, his wish. And I'm going to put an interim in there that could possibly burn the whole thing down. And then I have to come in later.
So she said, what exactly? I put an interim in that could possibly, why would I?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like, so instead of putting an interim in.
Mm-hmm. She's speaking in the context, she's speaking to, like, they're saying, oh, well, what did you expect me to do? Just put an interim in there? Yeah.
I got you. Okay.
That could possibly burn the whole thing down. And then I have to come in.
Well, that wasn't, well, didn't turn, they probably would have benefited from an interim, actually, from the looks. I mean, hindsight's 2020, right?
Later, when I'm ready, which no one's ever ready for anything in life, and resurrect the ashes. Absolutely not. I would not be able to live with myself. I would not be able to live with myself knowing that I didn't honor that for Charlie. Again, this is not about a job title. It's so much more than this. It's, again, making heaven crowded.
Let's listen to that one more time, but this time I want you to really hear what's underneath it.
Put an interim in there that could possibly burn the whole thing down. And then I have to come in later when I'm ready, which no one's ever ready for anything in life, and resurrect the ashes. Absolutely not.
She's not just defending her CEO role, she is naming the exact alternative scenario that her critics inside the movement are floating. Put an interim in there. That could possibly burn the whole thing down. Then I come in later when I'm ready and resurrect the ashes.
Resurrect the ashes.
I want to know, who is they? Who inside that organization was telling her just a few months into the job that the play was for her to step aside, let someone else run it for a season, and then return as the savior? Now, that is the thing about responding to a rumor publicly. You confirm that the rumor even exists. And the language that she chose, resurrect the ashes, is interesting language for a Christian widow whose pastor just said on a podcast that the Lord might be taking her home in a few years. Resurrect ashes, take her home. I'm not connecting those dots. I'm just reminding you what they already said.
You want to speak on that real quick? Like, what do you think? So what is she saying exactly?
There's continued symbolism.
Yeah, so she's addressing the idea because at that point, even in January, people were starting, there was rumblings of Erika's already doing a bad job. Okay. She's not fit for the position. And look, you guys, at that point, that was only, so it was, mid to late September by the time she had gotten into position. And so we're talking October, November, December, 3 months in really to the position. And she's, or 3.5 months in, I think, by the time of that event. And she's already talking about, she's already on the defensive, right? Oh, and we can't forget that she had just gone through AmFest and they had made the terrible mistake of putting up like Charlie's tent for people to take the selfies in. I mean, so many like faux pas that was just disgusting. But anyway, she gets up there and she's darting her eyes. Oh, she'd done the Barry Weiss thing with CBS. And I mean, things were not looking good. Oh, and the Fort Huachuca stuff was being circulated. She had not addressed that. There were a lot of, the heat was on for her at that point. So she's like, well, what do they expect? Somebody to, come in and be an interim and, burn the whole place down and then for me to resurrect the ashes. Well, I think that term resurrect the ashes is very symbolic. And what I didn't put in this video is that, and I come around to a little bit later, but I didn't hit on this point specifically. She talks a lot about like resurrection. It is an ongoing theme because in this subsect of I don't want to call it religious, almost demonic, satanic, whatever belief system that they're operating in. Okay. That I believe that my research is leading me to believe that they're in. This resurrection stuff is used in the like pretending to be Jesus related, Christian related, but really it means something totally different. And again, you guys, I'm sorry to get dark, but I just got to tell you, that's where we're going. That's where my research is taking me. And I believe you can believe what you want, but if you stick with me, you're going to see more stories like this and you be the judge.
Yeah. I mean, look, everyone should lock in here, right? Because this is the part where this whole thing this theory starts to really tie together, right? You've got October 7th, 2025, a month after Charlie's killed. You've got Pastor McCoy.
October 7th.
Yeah.
Can we pause for a moment? October 7th. Do you hear the symbolism in that?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. I didn't want to call too much attention to it in the video out of fear that it would get flagged right off the top for that. But my gosh, Danks, October 7th.
I know. October. If you don't know, some things happened in Boston, October 7th, 2023. Some very tragic stuff. So it is interesting. And they've drilled this date into our heads, like through the media over and over. But again, Pastor McCoy, this is the same man who says he's Charlie's pastor, right? Closest to the family. He said it on Frank Turek's podcast as well, that Erika is going to be a widow for a few years before the Lord takes her home. A few years. I mean, a few years. Like that, a few is like less than 5. You know what I mean? Now, fast forward a few months, and on January 21st or 22nd, she's at this Make Heaven Crowded tour, and herself is on stage saying, quote, put an interim in here that could possibly burn the whole thing down. And then I have to come in later when I'm ready and resurrect the ashes. Resurrect the ashes. Keli, the pastor says the Lord takes her home in a few years. Okay. Those are not coincidences. And resurrect the ashes. These are not random word choices. These are not coincidences, to me at least. This is where this is the pattern. This is the symbolism perhaps that you're leading to, is that is the same theological language being run on two different stages, months apart, by two different people inside the same inner circle, right? So somebody is either writing the script or reading from the same script, right?
Yeah,
And
it's this predictive programming. There's something to this idea of them needing to tell you what they're going to do before they do it.
absolutely. And
Giving you
welcome
these
to
keywords, and it's creepy. And if it's the first time that people are hearing about it, I know it is uncomfortable. Okay, I get it.
it kind of just clicked for me. If it clicked for you, drop some comments in the chat or a super chat. Let me know what you think. We'll read it on stage. If you have questions, let us know, because this is definitely some interesting stuff. I guess we'll keep it moving here.
Now, quick aside, if you've been digging like I have into this case, you have heard the phrase 7 mountains. It's a theological framework that says Christians are supposed to take dominion over 7 cultural sectors: government, media, business, education, family, religion, the arts. So TPUSA faith, make heaven crowded, a succession language, the battle cry. I'm not going to unpack the whole framework for you tonight, but that's a different video and it's coming. Once you see it, though, you cannot unsee how Erika's language fits inside it neatly. So file that away. We'll be coming back to it. March 11th, 2026, Erika Kirk goes to Little Rock, where she's welcomed at the Arkansas State Capitol by Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders on video in front of cameras. The governor and the new CEO of Turning Point USA announced a state-level partnership. TPUSA is going to be expanding into Arkansas high schools and college campuses statewide. This is the largest.
This part right, this right here, Zach Costello. Shout out to Zach. Did a great episode yesterday. I watched his live stream talking about like how ridiculous this is, that they're forcing schools to take a chapter of TPUSA. They are sorry, I didn't mean to freeze you on that frame right there. But they're literally forcing, if you don't, as a public school, even private schools, I think, they are going to hold criminal or like some type of court case over your head for not bringing in a Turning Point USA chapter. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
You know, I've covered a lot of this with Project Constitution. We did some when we were working together a few months ago. We got a lead and we started looking down the lead, and to me it looked like they are setting up some surveillance operation to collect data. And it's just my opinion. It's just some things that I've thought about. Why would you need every single high school, every single college? And then why would you call out, what is it, St. John's? Andrew Kovac went on at Fox News. St. John's better get their act together and let us in. Or if they don't want a chapter from Turning Point, then they shouldn't have to be required to bring in the chapter. I just think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, we talked about it. Well, I mean, I've done episodes on it, even all the way back to December. Texas was one of the first states that the Turning Point came to roll out their plan. Erika didn't show up, but the TPUSA like education person showed up, and I covered it that day. And the weird thing is our governor like leaned over. It was really odd, but I caught it at the end. He leans over and he warns the TPUSA guy that the mic was still on. He's like, hot mic. And so I made a thing about it at the end. I'm like, oh, what were you worried he was going to say on camera? You know, if everything's all on the up and up on the hot mic. But yeah, it is very concerning when this organization has so many question marks on it and is doing so many outrageous things. You know, the finances are a problem. No doubt. But the organization, it's like it doesn't even know what its identity is right now. We don't even know what its identity is right now. Yet, you're going to mandate it be in every school in the state. And essentially their goal is to be in every school in the country, teaching my kids, teaching your kids, away from parental supervision about what? About
October
what?
7th. October
Right?
7th,
And
man,
after
of
all,
course.
let's remember, like, okay, like Charlie didn't believe in going to college. So, I mean, are you also going to be swaying them to not pursue higher education? Are you going, like, what is this curriculum? Sorry.
You're good. Yeah, I agree. I think it's this curriculum is one thing that we don't even know really what the curriculum is, right? I don't have my daughter is not at that age yet. No problem. So when you think about what their ideology is versus what it was when Charlie Kirk was running this operation, they are two very different things. All right. Very different. And the fact is, if we remember when Erika Kirk, the secret recording was leaked of her being asked, well, what would Charlie think about the Iran war? This is a very easy to answer question. Charlie was very overt about not wanting to go into the Iran war. And if we roll into what not only Charlie thought about the Iran war, how do you think he would be reacting if we open up the conversation to the Board of Peace? If you don't know what that is, go and look in my videos and the lives, I'd recommend you watch the live on the Board of Peace, or go to the White House YouTube and watch the 2-hour live stream that Donald Trump did talking about the Board of Peace. It's kind of crazy. Taking billions of dollars from our tax dollars, accepting billions of dollars for partnership inside of the Board of Peace to rebuild Gaza. Not just that, what about all the data centers? All of these things now, instead of Charlie being here to speak against them, if you think about it, he's a critical component to the American voice. And they take him and remove him off the board completely. Well, what do we have? We have no major voice pushing back. You just have people in the streets, which it's so funny how a few people in the streets, or even thousands or tens of thousands of people in the streets, they have an impact. But Charlie Kirk made such an impact that he affected the world, right? Because the internet goes everywhere. Instead of recordings of people in the streets fighting against a data center, maybe that recording wouldn't get made, or people would just not show up from the media. But Charlie Kirk was a critical person to speak out against data centers, against the sickness that data centers give. If you haven't seen my live stream from yesterday with Elizabeth Lane, these are military operations, okay? You're talking significant voices being removed from the internet, or from the planet, rather, that would be the ones that had the loudest voice against what is happening today. So it's not just Iran. It's not just Boston. It's not just what's happening with the White House and how they're moving, but it's also the data centers. It's also health. It's also what would happen if this virus turns out to be something wild and we experience that. What would his voice be like there? Every single thing along the way. If we had a dissident that was being created in Charlie Kirk to speak against all of the things that they're pushing and the agenda that's being put forth, don't you think that his voice was literally going to be like, you want to talk about Nick Fuentes having a voice just for his little subgroup? He doesn't mean anything compared to what Charlie could have done if he literally became a dissident and a part of an American voice instead of the institution voice. So with that being said, we have to realize that it's not just the war. It's not just like, it's not just the file. Think about the files too. There's so many things. And now TPUSA, to round all of that out, now TPUSA is not asking questions. They're not out here giving any commentary on what's happening in the global geopolitical space. They're not doing anything, actually. Nobody's speaking out on anything. Nobody cares about Andrew Colvett. He's just some fake media dude who's been planted in different organizations from what it looks like to me. You look at his background and what Barron is pulling out and Candace is pulling out. And I've also found interesting things as well. So that's my little rant on TPUSA going a whole different direction, not pushing back, and instead completely giving favoritism to the White House and the administration as a whole. All right.
Expansion announcement of Erika's tenure. The flagship play, proof of concept that the movement is bigger under her, not smaller. But 5 days later, March 16th, the University of Arkansas TPUSA chapter dissolves.
Today, as the university's Turning Point USA chapter announces they are disaffiliating with the national group and rebranding, citing concerns about messaging and the organization's focus. It comes less than a week after Turning Point CEO Erika Kirk visited Arkansas with Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders to announce a proclamation endorsing the group.
Not a freshman student.
There was so much pushback from this right here. I guess that this lady, I don't know, that they were not happy that this happened, because what the actual story of this is that they were going to get involved. The state basically got involved by getting a politician. What's her name? Stacy something. This lady here, right?
Oh, Sarah Huckabee Sanders. That's Mike Huckabee's daughter.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So Mike Huckabee's daughter.
So extra Detroit.
Yeah, more Boston for you, right?
Yeah,
so,
whatever you want, whatever city we're calling them these days.
You say Detroit because there was a poll we did months back.
Sorry.
Because everyone's like, just say Philly. And I'm like, why would I say Philly? That's what everyone says. Like, you want to just have them. Like, the way I think about this, like, let's do a side note real quick. The reason why I call it Boston or Detroit, or Bays calls it Benihana's, is because we don't want them isolating a word and then just like nuking our videos over one stupid word.
Right.
If we all use different words, they're going to have to take out the whole dictionary, and that's not possible.
Yeah.
So that's like the background to that. But this story here is that once they stood hand in hand, this created all kinds of issues, which you're about to get into a little bit here, I think, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into it.
Huckabee Sanders to announce a proclamation endorsing the group.
Not a freshman student just acting out, not some student government feud. The chapter president had been in TPUSA for 10 semesters, 5 of them in leadership. He wrote this: "We're generally put off by how Charlie Kirk has been used by TPUSA since his assassination. Statements like Charlie would have said or Charlie would have wanted have felt in many instances disingenuous and manipulative. Charlie Kirk cannot self anymore, and we do not recognize the way that others have attempted to speak for him." That's from Dino Fantagrassi on March 16th, 2026. So the chapter rebrands itself Young American Revival, and they don't just walk, they walk immediately after the biggest endorsement event of the new CEO's tenure. And that's the first crack, but it's not the last. April 10th, 2026. Now pay attention to that date. April 10th is exactly 7 months to the day after Charlie Kirk was allegedly assassinated. Now, that's the date that Mason Lemme, a member of the Texas State University TPUSA chapter, chooses himself to disassociate. And on April 23rd, he posts a video on YouTube explaining why.
In a sick world that hates the truth, we're up against powerful forces of darkness and a sinister evil that never rests, Satan. I truly believe that there has been a massive worldwide manipulation of the Christian faith surrounding.
Why do you think he put that in? Do you think that he is referencing that they are actually the wicked forces themselves, Turning Point?
You know, I've been in contact with him, and I need to reconnect with him. He reshared my video yesterday, and I'm hoping to get in touch with him this week. I think it would be great to do a live with him this week.
Yeah, it'd be great. Absolutely.
Because now that things have like chilled a little bit, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, nobody should be killed over opinions. R.I.P. Charlie Kirk. Let's talk.
That takes some guts.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you know, that's the one thing that they are not doing is talking about anything, right? Anything important. And it's sad to see, man. They're talking about, like, if you're talking about Ben Shapiro coming out with, I'm going to pick up the bloody mic. Bro, are you freaking insane? You are the opposite of what we need right now. You could be great, but you choose not to be. Nobody's disputing the fact that Ben Shapiro is smart and a good speaker, besides the fact that his voice is ridiculous. So it's just unfortunate that they don't have an America First agenda. You know, I've said it many times. I am here now as an American only, okay? Because when you say America First, you give too much leeway to outside possibilities. Oh, well, in order to have America First, we need to do this. Or in order to have America First, we need to do that. And it creates way too much opportunity for infiltration of things that we do not need at all. We need to look out for our country first, our country only. And then maybe if, and possibly not even ever, go and do anything given money anywhere else. Now, I understand that our global superpower does require some outside intervention. However, that should only be when we are good inside this country. Go to every major city in this country and take a look for yourself. I live 2 hours from LA, 2 hours from San Diego. Even San Diego is starting to look like a shithole. All right? There's homeless people everywhere, and it only costs $20 billion to fix homelessness for the entire country. All right? Now, you can't take drug addicts and say they're not going to continue doing. Yeah, obviously I understand this, but you could definitely fix a large majority of people that are not mentally stable or that can't support themselves. You know, so these are the things that Charlie was about. I'm not sure his political stance on that specifically. I don't want anyone to get weighted down in that, but I will say he was for the people. He was America first. And the problem with that, in my eyes, is exactly what we have today. America is not first. They put America on the back burner in order to get everything else done, saying it's for America. And it's just bullshit. Sorry, I just get heated.
Oh,
and another thing,
Darkness.
another thing, I'm Iranian, Cuban American, right? But I always make it very clear that I am just an American. My background and heritage is Iranian and Cuban, but none of that matters. Like, if you had to say like this or that country or whatever, like even if I love Persian food. But if they were like, in order to be America only, you would have to never eat Persian food again. Well, fuck. If you're going to follow America only and focus on that shit first, then take it all out. I'll eat hamburgers and cheeseburgers and hot dogs and pizza forever. You know, I don't care. I want this country to be good. And there's plenty of, they keep printing money and sending it everywhere else. I'm sick of it, bro. And if you haven't seen Baron Coleman's Members Live with me on it, where we talk about what the New World Order very well might be, you need to go. It's worth the $10 just to go watch that episode, because I believe I need to do it on my channel as well. What this New World Order might very well be. I don't want to get too thrown out into that, but this stuff gets me, man. Sorry. Okay. Let's continue.
Or evil that never rests, Satan. I truly believe that there has been a massive worldwide manipulation of the Christian faith surrounding the assassination of Charlie Kirk. This strategy was used to weaponize people's faith in Jesus against themselves in order to make people believe a specific narrative.
Read that again with me. A massive worldwide manipulation of the Christian faith surrounding the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Weaponizing people's faith in Jesus against themselves in order to make people believe a specific narrative. If you remember a few moments ago, I said something about 7 mountains. Well, you just heard a college student naming on tape exactly that 7 mountains framework that I just told you was coming up in a future video. I'm not making a claim. I'm playing you the tape. 12 days after Lemme's effective resignation date, April 22nd, Caroline Mattox, the president of the UGA TPUSA chapter, posts her own resignation on Instagram. This is right after the April 14th University of Georgia event where Erika failed to show up to interview Vice President J.D. Vance. And we'll get to that. But Mattox writes, Quote, Charlie spent his life fighting for truth, and I do not believe that he would stand for the blatant dishonesty now being spread by the organization that he built. 3 resignations, 3 escalating reasons. Arkansas, Charlie can't speak for himself anymore. Texas State, the manipulation of Christian faith. University of Georgia, blatant dishonesty. Now, these are not random people. These are believers, students who joined this movement because, in their own words, the faith itself was being weaponized. But when the believers leave, that's the loudest signal a faith-driven movement can give you. Now back to University of Georgia, April 14th. The Vice President of the United States is on stage. Erika is supposed to interview him, but guess what? She doesn't show.
Well, first of all, I love Erika, and I know that she did get some threats. And, about 2 hours ago, as you know, Andrew, I was a little worried that we were going to have to cancel the event because Erika was not going to come, and she was very worried about it.
The U.S. Secret Service later said that the threats were not credible. Take that in. The Vice President of the United States is on stage telling a half-empty arena that the woman who runs the host organization of this event is too afraid to be there. And in a movement that's already losing believers, Arkansas, Texas State, days away, they didn't realize, from losing Georgia, Erika does not get on the plane. Allegedly. Hold that. On April 25th, the Washington Hilton, the White House Correspondents' Dinner, a 31-year-old man named Cole Thomas Allen, who had checked into a room 10 floors above the ballroom, comes down a back stairwell, allegedly carrying a 12-gauge shotgun, a .38 semi-automatic, and several knives, 8:36 p.m. And supposedly, he tries to shoot his way past the magnetometer. One officer shot, saved by his vest. Trump, Vance, and Erika Kirk evacuated.
I just want to go find you.
She's crying. And of course, she's on camera. 2 days later, April 27th, The Post. Saturday was yet another traumatic example of the evil in our country and the continued rise in political violence. I'm taking time to be with my family. Miss Erika Kirk. She bows out of another Make Heaven Crowded tour stop, this time at Prestonwood Baptist in Plano, Texas, using a video message.
Hey everyone, I'm sorry I'm not able to physically be with you tonight. I am taking some time to be with my family.
And then Iowa State was postponed too. JD Vance, the man she just told a few months ago, 30,000 people that she was going to send to the White House, pulls out of the rescheduled event entirely. TPUSA calls it a scheduling conflict, but nobody believes them. So everything that you just heard, the canceled tour, the Prestonwood video message, the postponed Iowa State visit, the Vance pullout, the I'm taking time to be with my family tweet, all of that is true. Erika has stepped back from public life. Well, except for Saturday, or as she calls it, the Sabbath.
Those eyes, though.
Sorry, I said I had to throw that in there.
Bro, there is a whole, it's funny that they do this at Hillside College, Hillsdale, because the Air Force one that they were trying to push through for Charlie, the posthumous award or degree or posthumous whatever degree, there was so much controversy around it. I don't know why they are so gung-ho about getting a posthumous degree for Charlie and or now Erika, which I don't know why she needs one for, but very, very interesting. Sorry to cut.
Well, I'm gonna flush all of that out in future videos. And there's a little, I dip my toe into the water a little bit in this, but it's deep. All this stuff is deep.
Yeah. I don't know.
Symbolic.
Man. This image right here just looks silly to me. I don't know.
Right? I was watching it live. This is how much I want you guys to know. This is how much of how much I geek out on all of this stuff. Saturday afternoon, I had the notification set, and this is how crazy it is. This is behind the scenes. Okay. So I had the Hillsdale College YouTube stream notifications set. So they had a live stream directly to their site. I had my notifications on. I had my timer set on my phone. So I'm here, I'm ready, and I'm recording it on my phone, right? Or on my computer. And anyway, so then I'm getting it and it's streaming or whatever. And then, there's a long, procession, all these people. And then finally you get to see Erika. I got to see Mikey McCoy and his wife, sitting in the front row. So that was interesting. It's just, but seeing Erika there, I'm just, oh my gosh. you know, just so contradictory for her being like, oh, I need to stay home with my family.
Yeah, absolutely. Let us know in the comments, in the chats, whatever you feel like letting us know. What do you think, man? What do you think about her getting a posthumous doctorate, dude? Do you think that she deserves a doctor? I don't know, like, where this is coming from, you know?
And then meanwhile, you've got Pat Sajak sitting back there. I think you can kind of only barely see him, but yeah, he's sitting back there, you know, Wheel of Fortune.
Oh yeah. I don't
Yeah.
even know. I know Bob Barker from Wheel of Fortune. Or is that The Price is Right? Shit, I don't know. I'm not old enough. I'm not old enough, unfortunately. I watched it when I was young.
I wasn't expecting Pat Sajak. I'm like, hold on a second. What's going on here? But yeah, it was bizarre.
All right, let's keep going.
May 9th, 2026, this Saturday, Erika Kirk is delivering the commencement address at Hillsdale College. And for anyone who doesn't know what Hillsdale is, it is the most prominent Christian conservative liberal arts college in the country. Heritage Foundation alumni, Federalist Society pipeline, the school that defines the intellectual spine of the modern American conservative movement. And here's what no one else is reporting. 11 days after Charlie was allegedly killed, that massive memorial seen around the world, Hillsdale President Larry Arnn said two things in this order, less than 1 minute apart. Listen to both before I say anything else.
An assassin is not a thing that has being. The assassin must give up his humanity to destroy something that has being. Charlie lives on. The assassin will die.
The assassin will die. The president of the most powerful Christian conservative college in the country stood up at that memorial 11 days after the UVU event. And within that same minute, he sentenced one person to death and scheduled another person's coronation. Make that make sense.
And this May the 9th, Erika doesn't know this yet. We are going to give Charlie and Erika the greatest respect a college can give, an honorary degree.
He didn't announce the honorary degree to Erika first privately. He announced it to the world, to a stadium full of people on camera, on a date 7.5 months in the future. Now, I'm not going to tell you what that means, but I am going to tell you that it was said on the record and by a man whose institution is now running a permanent curriculum branded with Charlie Kirk's name. That's not a normal honorary degree timeline. That is a coronation being scheduled in real time. And the woman being crowned didn't even know it was happening yet, supposedly. Pin that one on the corkboard too. While she's publicly stepping back from the organization that she runs, Erika will deliver the commencement address. That's one contradiction, one that you'll find a whole pile of. The battle cry widow who would not be able to live with herself, she says, if she had stepped aside, seems to be sort of stepping aside. The woman who told 30,000 people that she was going to elect J.D. Vance to the White House, not showing up at an interview with him at UGA for her own organization. The CEO who's taking time to be with her family except for Saturday at Hillsdale. The grieving widow whose pastor said that the Lord might take her home in a few years. It's still on the calendar, maybe through the midterms. Any one of these by itself is nothing. It's a busy schedule, a bad day, a canceled flight. But all of them in this order, in this 7 months, that's a pattern that we have to recognize. And patterns are, at this point, the only thing that investigative journalists actually have.
I want to pause that right there just real quick, because I see some people in the chat mentioning, what did the folks in the crowd think, the actual graduates think. And you'll notice that the news stations did not show that the news stations didn't show the reverse shots, but in the live feed, they actually did show the reverse crowd shots. And I can tell you that it took a lot for them to do any sort of standing ovation. And it was like a very sporadic couple of few adults in the way back that started to stand. And then there were a few graduates that started to stand. And then there were a few more, but by no means did the full graduating class stand, or I wouldn't say even half of the graduating class stand for her. I just want to share that as what I felt was interesting perspective. Oh, you're muted.
Thanks. Yeah, that is interesting. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, how many people stood up? So you've seen that footage where they just
Yeah, I mean, I was watching it live, so I can tell you, Scout's honor that because I literally sat here Saturday afternoon watching the live stream. Oh, I know where I was going with my story a minute ago is that, and I could show you this, that Hillsdale right after the stream, instead of preserving, and I haven't looked to see if they have made a separate clip since, but they, instead of making that live stream like right away, just turning it from the live stream into here's the graduation ceremony, they made it a private video.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I say, I have the link. And so it shows that it's private. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, because they don't want to show how the lack of love that she's
Yeah.
not. Oh, very, very interesting. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Okay. Okay. This is what, if you want to see real investigative journalism, you're in the right place. You know that,
That's
right?
right.
Y'all are in the right place. All right. Let us know in the comments and the chats and how you feel about this type of journalism, because we're doing real work. Thank you, Keli, for this. This is great.
Of course. Esther said that the Lord might take her home in a few years. It's still on the calendar, maybe through the midterms. Any one of these by itself is nothing. It's a busy schedule, a bad day, a canceled flight. But all of them in this order, in this 7 months, that's a pattern that we have to recognize. And patterns are, at this point, the only thing that investigative journalists actually have. So here's where I'm going to ask you to do something hard. Step back from this specific case. I know, it's tough. Forget Saturday for a minute, but keep focused on the pattern. When a successor becomes inconvenient, when she won't step aside, when she fights back publicly, when she names the rumor on a stage in Los Angeles, when the believers underneath her start walking out, when an institution is publicly crowning her, even as her own organization goes dark, there are historically 3 things that happen next: sidelined, scandalized, or silenced. I'm not predicting any of those for Erika Kirk, for the record. I'm just telling you that this is the playbook, and the playbook has been run on widows of powerful men in American politics before. The Kennedys could tell you, the Kings could tell you. And here's a question that I am leaving open because I don't have the answer, and anyone who tells you that they do is lying to you. If Pastor McCoy was right, if Erika is going to be a widow for a few years before the Lord takes her home, and if that prophecy was already circulating less than a month after Charlie's exit, then the question is not whether something will happen to her. The question is who inside the movement already knows what. September 12th, the cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry. September 21st, Erika doesn't know this yet, but we're going to give Charlie and Erika an honorary degree. October 7th, Erika's going to be a widow for just a few years. March 16th, Charlie cannot speak for himself anymore. April 10th, the manipulation of the Christian faith. April 22nd, blatant dishonesty. April 27th, I'm taking time to be with my family. May 9th, the commencement. Officially, Erika Kirk is still CEO of Turning Point USA. Officially, she's fully in charge. And officially, this looks like a temporary step back. I don't think that Erika Kirk has decided to leave TPUSA. I think the decision is being made for her. And I think the people making it knew all along exactly what role she was supposed to play and exactly how long she was supposed to play it. The promise was, I will never let your legacy die. But the pattern, someone else gets to decide when it ends. One last thing that I want to name just clearly out loud before anyone else gets to name it for me. If something happens to Erika Kirk, anything, a health scare, a scandal, a tragedy, a quiet exit, anything that fits that prophecy, the people who made videos like this one are going to be the first to get blamed. The narrative will write itself in their minds. Critical podcasters created a hostile environment. Conspiracy theorists harassed the grieving widow. The internet did this to her. No, the internet did not do this. The internet is watching it. And what we are watching is a pattern documented in their own words, on their own stages, on their own podcasts, that's older than YouTube and older than us. Because sympathy is a weapon in this playbook. Generated grief is a weapon. And the first move after the next chapter of this story is going to be blaming the people who saw it coming, people like me. So when it happens, if it happens, remember who said what and when. Remember the dates. Remember the corkboard that we've been making. I'm Keli. Stay sharp out there.
Wow. Good job, man. That was dope. I gotta say. Yeah, good work. Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna be getting to supers shortly here, so feel free. If not, we'll try to read some comments as well. But also, yeah, what do you think about Keli's reporting? I think it was great. You get a round of applause from the Dankster chat, from the Dankster StreamYard chat. But yeah, no, that was cool, man. It's good to see critical thinking. It's important, rather. We don't get enough of it. A lot of people just they don't think for themselves, man. A lot of just falling in line and not really putting out their own opinions. And I think that's super important, is to get the truth from your perspective. Your truth. You know, Didi had a podcast. I was watching a video he did about rappers and stuff the other day, and he's saying there's only one truth, right? It's just the truth, not your truth. But at the same time, I think that we do have our perspective, and it's important to let your perspective out and to be known, because we never know what that could open up. So your words, your voice matters just as much as hers, as mine. Anybody out here that's watching, obviously you have some critical thinking that you're doing, or otherwise you wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? So
well, sure. I mean, and the critical thinking of all of our audience matters too. You know, I mean, they see things, we have blind spots, inevitably, right? And so that's why I think I love this platform and being able to, it's different from my old days, right? Because I would just kind of put something out there, and then if someone took the time to email or at most respond in a Facebook comment or a message or something, then, you know, that would be some level of feedback. But I wasn't engaging with people on the daily or, you know, multiple times a week in real-time live chats and like working through things, working through my investigations in real time with people. And so this is like a whole new medium for me. And so like, I'm still adapting. But like, this was old school Keli in a new school kind of way. So I'm very pleased that it was received well. So thank you guys so much for,
Oh yeah, you can tell you got experience. You know what I mean? I could see it very clearly.
Thank you.
Just the way your reporting is done. I mean, I'm going to play a couple of clips from this video I put yesterday real quick before we do get into the end of the show, my favorite part of the show. But I think this might tie into some of this, and I kind of want to share it. So let's go ahead and add this to the stage. This was from yesterday. I think Candace is dropping it today, or either Elizabeth might be. So it kind of ties into a little bit into this, and like, was this all staged, right? When you, at the end of the day, I'm not going to play the whole thing, just a few minutes of it. So I'm going to jump around, but things are starting to make a lot more sense. The fact that Charlie Kirk was a virgin when he met Erika Kirk, no, it couldn't be. Could it? Could Charlie Kirk's best friend, Candace Owens, be lying about the fact that Charlie Kirk was a virgin when Erika Kirk met him? Do you think that's why maybe she lied about all the boyfriends that she's had in the past, the engagements she's had in the past? Like, subscribe, hit this notification bell right here on this screen down below. Join for 99 cents for every Saturday members only live. Yeah, definitely want to join for members only lives. Let me see here. So where am I at here? Or once
where the hottest tea gets dropped, huh?
Exactly. Yeah, the hottest tea. Yeah, it's not even tea. It's a whole bucket of coffee, just like everywhere. So right here, so she does mention Candace. She's interviewing with Elizabeth Lane. Elizabeth Lane, good friend of the show as well. And she's I met her through Jesse, and we've been doing reporting together also. And so this is unreleased footage. But in this, she's talking, Candace, about Charlie and his ex girlfriend and how he's kind of going down the rabbit hole of not being so. He's kind of sad, right? And anybody would be, which is normal. But also that he's a virgin. Now I know he said this before, but coming from Candace as well, it just kind of sparked some new interest. So I thought I'd make a video. Well, listen to what I say regarding this as we go through, because it'll definitely trigger some thoughts for sure.
Yes. Do too much detail about the time before he met her. It's not offensive to the marriage. It's like, obviously people like try to date before, and he was trying to date this girl that he was totally obsessed with. And this girl that he was chasing, it's kind of one of the worst kept secrets. It was like me and Don Jr. were trying to help him navigate this. And, because I was always with Charlie, basically every time this other girl would text him, like I was texting her back. Like I basically had to become a lesbian for a year as he chases goes, what should I say back? I'm like, at some point you're gonna have to text her yourself. Like everything he'd screenshot, what should I say, blah, blah, blah. And like kind of, he always
Woman's
believes
opinion,
if I work hard enough, I can like get this girl. That was his mentality.
Doesn't this make a lot of sense? Once he hits that, or once she hits it, he's locked in, man. If he's a virgin, like what Candace is about to tell us, or what she's telling us now, that makes total sense. He's the perfect mark. I'm not saying Erika Kirk marked him, but it's the perfect candidate to go and infiltrate a virgin who is making mountains of money and opportunity in the political apparatus. This is just mind-blowing, man. I should have known. Why? And I didn't know. So for me, it was new information, by the way. But I should have thought, critical thinking, I never even thought about it, to be honest. But it opened up a whole nother thought pattern for me.
Mm-hmm.
Erika Kirk lie about her boyfriends. She's lying to Charlie Kirk about her boyfriends because he's a virgin.
And he was just obsessed with her. Like reading back on those messages of this girl who then became one of my best friends and was in my wedding because of how much I felt like I was chasing her, because I liked her a lot, that the girl he was chasing. And I knew that she was going to let him down because it was very obvious that she wasn't into him.
Yeah.
And because he was kind of young in those ways. And she was younger than him, but, younger girls, older guys sort of a thing. And
yeah.
Charlie, I basically kind of forced him. And I was like, you need to go sit down with her and you need to ask her. Like, it's been a long time. I've been messaging with this girl a lot. And I think you need to just sit down and say, is this something or it's not? And I knew she was going to let him down, and she did. And he was heartbroken about it. Truly, truly heartbroken about it. And as someone who viewed him as a little brother, obviously I wanted to find, Charlie, it's okay. You're going to find a girlfriend, whatever. And so when Erika, then Tyler Boyer sets up this, I have this person for you to meet, and he comes.
Tyler Boyer sets up Erika and Charlie. It feels like an operation. It feels like a full-blown op. I don't know what else to call it. Charlie's a virgin. She says she's not. And once he gets domed up a couple of times, he's going to fall in love forever. Probably doesn't even have to smash.
And he's like, oh, she's a bit older. And initially he was like, I'm just going to use her to try to get so-and-so jealous or whatever.
By the way, okay, that little bit right there. Tyler Boyer is the one who actually initiated this relationship. That answers that question. A lot of people talking about a lot of different, possibilities. Oh, they met over here. Oh, they met over there. The blue and white team at the wall, then the airport, then whatever. A lot of weirdness about how they actually met. Well, that answers that question right there. But we got a much bigger thing coming.
Because this was the first date or whatever. And then she was a bit more persistent and giving him the godly spiel. And the messages, and I'm just going through our messages, look, this is maybe what God wanted me to have. And, he was sort of wrapped in on, hooked on that because
fall in love. He's a virgin. He's super religious and attached to Christ and God. And they just identified the perfect mark, in my opinion, because why come in with this dime piece in his eyes? She looks good. I'm not going to lie. She was Miss Arizona. You got Miss Arizona. He's a virgin. She says she's a virgin. Or she's never had a boyfriend or hasn't dated in New York, or maybe she's dated a little bit. I don't know what the hell her story is, to be honest. I don't know who does, except for her. I don't even know if she does. But it's the perfect thing that you got a dime piece for Charlie that is religious, speaks highly of Christ, and blows his mind and other things.
Charlie is Christian. And so when I went to meet her, my thought process was, this is probably just going to be a girlfriend, but I'm glad because this will nurse his broken heart. And also he'll realize there's other people.
Oh,
and
she came in after a broken heart. I don't know if anyone's attached to that, but if you put that together and you realize that Charlie is heartbroken over a relationship that didn't work out, and then you slide in Erika at that exact moment, it's a wrap, bro. It's a wrap. It's game over.
great. Obviously, my first instinct as a woman was that she was older than me. And I just thought that's kind of weird that she would be into Charlie because Charlie's quite young in those ways.
And Candace is older than Charlie. Candace older than Charlie, Erika older than Candace. And now look at the following piece of information through that lens also.
He's an absolute genius. He's got so much going for him, but like he's young in those ways. Like I'm like telling this kid to like wear a suit that fits him, like he was a virgin when he got married. So I don't feel like I'm oversharing here. And what
Did we hear that? He's only been married once, right?
like he was a virgin when he got married. So I don't feel like I'm oversharing here. A suit that fits him, like he was a virgin when he got married. So I don't feel like
He was a virgin when he got married. Erika Kirk is his first wife. What do you think this means? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think this is an operation to trick Charlie? Do you think Erika is an op? Do you think she lied about her boyfriends, her past, all of this stuff in order to get in with Charlie and make him think that he's the one, that they're going to get married and have sex together for the first time? And what do you think? I want to know in the comments.
like his first
That
kiss.
is so sweet.
Yeah,
Aw.
so that's why he was so unsure of himself. in
She's
those
thinking, oh, her brain is running right now. That's so sweet. Her brain is running right now, bro. Like, I wouldn't be able to get past that. Let's see where she goes from here.
So let me stop there and say some things here. Okay. So I don't know how much experience everybody has as it relates to interacting with someone where you were the first sexual experience of their life, but everybody has the experience of how you felt the first sexual experience of your life.
Bingo. I remember the first girl I hooked up with. I love that. I thought I did. Imagine you're in your early 20s or whatever, and you're dating Erika Kirk, and she's Miss Arizona, and everywhere you go, people are saying, you're so beautiful. Look at your wife. And all your friends are just hogging over your girl. Oh, this does not look good. Now we know, at least in my opinion, allegedly, maybe perhaps, why Erika Kirk lied about all of the relationships she's had in the past, her drinking. Is she lying about religion too? Ooh, shots fired. So, I don't know. You start putting all the pieces together, it starts to look a little sus, if you know what I'm saying.
I mean, I don't think that the pieces fit so well together.
Yeah, I tend to agree. So
They don't fit so well together.
yeah, I mean, that's my little show there.
That was great. That was
It's-
great, man.
we have fun around
the
here.
color commentary.
Yeah, you gotta
That's
love.
awesome.
I mean, you see, I am like, when you see me in person, I am the same person on screen. That's what I think. That's the value there, and what you're getting. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so yeah. Anyways, any last thoughts before we get to the super chats?
No. I think there's a whole plethora of things to explore with their relationship. It actually, funny enough, I was trying to do this is a stream that maybe you and it would be actually really fun if you want to do this, if you'd like to do this some night or someday. But I have a whole script for a stream. I had wanted to do it on Valentine's Day. I tried to do this with Blake actually, but we only got like 3 questions in, and then he wanted to start talking about, her pole or something, but it was supposed to be about how Erika met Charlie and about their relationship. And so anyway, how it like really shaped their entire, what we see today. Anyway, we can talk about it another time, but there are a lot of little things that really raise questions that people did not know. And I think the virginity question is just one drop in the bucket.
I agree. Yeah, it was news to me, but I learned very quickly from the chat. They were not happy. They were like, "Danks, this is not new news." It's like, all right, chilly willy, bro. Chill. All right, damn. All right, Danksters, we are at the part of the show where the audience gets the mic, and I have to open with this because what just happened in this room over the last hour and a half is the reason why we do work. We've got multiple super chatters today that have thrown a couple of them at the super chat board. So thanks to Tasha, Doubling Up, Christy, Hughes always coming through for the Danksters, doubling up. Philippe from Sweden doubling up, and international support. Repeat, support is why we do this, and a corkboard contribution from Dion Air that may seed an entire follow-up video. This is not a tip jar segment. This is a research roundtable. So let's get into it. First, we've got Anne Marie with the $9.99. Let's go. Anne Marie Tipton, $9.99, came in hot. I appreciate you. All caps, let's go. 5 exclamation point. That's the loudest let's go you're going to ever read. Thank you, Anne. I appreciate you. Naomi, welcome, new member. Welcome, Andrea. By the way, we do members only live streams. Let me throw this up here for just 99 cents. You get to join the Danksters every Saturday morning. So we moved it to Saturdays from Friday. We just had a better turnout. I think more people are off. But loose for 3 members. One of the clear day oneers, almost getting there, almost day one. Well, thank you, Balooz. Elena gifted a Danks membership. If you got one from Elena on Danks and or Kelly, shout out to Elena sliding
So
through
nice.
with the
Thank
banger.
you. Thank you, Elena.
Thank you so much, Elena. We appreciate that. Cassidy, member for a month. Y'all, you're just getting started. We're gonna turn you into a Dankette over here. Be careful. Tornado. What do we got here? Tornado. All right. EK's Erika Kirk's tense in first video. CK is my husband, not was.
Yes. Yep.
Nice
Absolutely.
catch. $2, but listen to that. Dropping a bomb. EK tense.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that is an important point. And I think that if I could weigh in on that, I think that I could see it from 2 perspectives. I feel that it's weird and intentional. But some argue that because it was so fresh, maybe still thinking in the present tense, haven't accepted it yet. But, if you're of the extra critical thinking mindset, like many of us are.
Yeah.
I
don't know if you caught that. I mean, I didn't catch it, actually. That was a nice catch. Not was, is. That's exactly this is, and that's 2 days after, right? I think it was very shortly after, right?
Yep.
That's a linguistic tell. You know what I mean? That's the kind of tell that
Yep.
does not show up in mainstream coverage because the corporate guys are not listening for it. And even if it was, they wouldn't want to, right? That's what I love about this audience is that, kind of gave us something to work with here. You know what I mean?
Critical thinkers.
Critical thinkers. Thanks for the $2. Tornado. We love it. Thank you so much. Welcome, Dr. President. Appreciate you. Welcome. Make sure to join us on Saturdays. Tasha Johns 2484 with the first banger they dropped, $4.99. Anyone doubting how dark the 1% really are need to read Behold a Pale Horse, Chaos, Weird Scenes in Laurel Canyon. Yeah, coming in with the reading list, Behold a Pale Horse, Chaos, Weird Scenes in Laurel Canyon. Yeah, Tasha basically handed the chat a syllabus and said, do your homework because there's some deep stuff there. And anyone in this room who's not read I think there's those 3 books, right? Write it down, man. That's the foundation. That is where the rabbit hole opens up.
Have you read those? I have not read those. I think I've heard Candace talk about Chaos in her, that it's of her book. It has been one of her book club books. Maybe
I haven't, and these are actually ones that it's so nice to be reminded of it because I want to order these books. I have a whole list from the chat, from Baron, watching other people, some great books, and it's important. I love to learn about history. A lot of times I'm just researching the internet, and it's nice to just get off of it. So I definitely already have it marked in my folder to get these. So thank you, Tasha. We should definitely do some book study. That would be kind of interesting.
Yeah. That'd be cool. I've got my notes written down, so I'm writing them down too.
I like it. Old school journalism, baby.
Yep.
Thank you, Tasha, for that. Baby J, just want to say hi. Say thank you, you guys. I appreciate it. Charlie, Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Yeah. Thank you so much. Keeping it simple, man. I love it. And you don't have to say much. You know what I mean? The phrase that really has carried this story since September. You know what I mean? It's yeah, you're the reason why we keep showing up. You're the reason this channel exists. We see you. I appreciate you. And Tasha, this is the one I was saying earlier. Got to double up. Thanks. Your theory of New World Order on Barron made so much sense. Everyone needs to watch that. Best member show he's had. Yeah, he actually texted me and he was like, this is he told me flat out. He said, this is the most members only show I've ever had. So there's obviously a lot there that was unpacked that people do need to see. So I highly encourage checking it out. But yeah, Tasha's back with another baller banger, $4.99. We appreciate it. You didn't have to do that twice, but we appreciate you. And again, if you haven't seen it yet, you got to go check it out. It's a banger for sure. Christy with the $5 super. Always good to see her. Hey, family. Hope all is well. Howdy. Beautiful mods. Loving the mods. Loving the Dankster. Loving Keli. I know that she's seen lots of Keli as well. She's always around. And yeah, she shouts out the mods every time, which we love. The mods are what
So sweet.
keeps this running, on the back end, keeping it clean, banning the trolls, dropping the information. So we super appreciate that. Mods, give Christy some love in the chat right now. We'd appreciate that. Surrendered with the $5. I just feel like if you think he is alive, then you believe he was in on it. I really need an explanation, please. Christ is king. What do you think?
Okay, so this is a whole long ordeal. I'll try my best to keep it brief, but you got to understand this is like a whole conversation. Okay, the briefest way that I can sum it up that doesn't really do it justice is that one, you have to kind of check your preconceived notions of Charlie at the door. Okay, unless you knew him for real as a person. Then, you just knew of him. Okay. And it's very hard to say what anyone would do if faced with a certain scenario. It doesn't mean that he was doing something nefariously. This could have been his job to exit. His job was done and he was allowed to exit. And all of the things that are happening right now, they maybe didn't anticipate it to ripple out and become this big, but it's what's happening. Tyler's not in any danger. All of those things are protected. That's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is a little bit more nefarious, and that not that Charlie is doing something bad in his mind, but that these are very evil forces at play. That's the shortest, most concise way that I can describe this. And I'm just going to have to ask for you to just bear with me as I try to tell you the story as I did with this one. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you said that, doing his job, because if you think about Pam Bondi, right? And by the way, Surrender, thank you for the super chat. Pam Bondi, she didn't get fired. She did her job, and then she was replaced with someone that can, because you can't have Pam Bondi come in and dismantle all the regulatory agencies and all the oversight, and then just leave her in. It looks bad. The optics are bad, right? So you have to remove and continue with something else in order to get the job done, whatever their mission might be. Now, if you look at it that angle, I could definitely see there's some alignment there. The administration obviously has this alignment. They got rid of Kristi Noem. They got rid of Pam Bondi. There's others. Bongina left. You know what I mean? So are they doing their job? Do you think Bongina just was there to hold the cover up long enough to get out? We don't know. You see what I'm saying? And also, this is the question that every honest researcher has to wrestle with on this case. If Charlie is alive, what does that mean for the entire operation in general? I'm not going to pretend I know he's dead or alive, right? Obviously, to me, not obviously, I'll tell you, to me, he's dead. It's not like he's going to pop out of a birthday cake and surprise everybody. You know what I mean? Exactly. He's dead. So let's get that clear. I've wrestled with this for a long time, but if the only thing that is showing that he is dead is what we saw on footage, and we've already addressed that multiple of the 3,000 people in the crowd might have been operators, and then we look at what's the dude's name, the gubernatorial dude, governor running,
Phil Lyman.
Lyman. You look at Phil Lyman and the kid interviewing him, and they're laughing and they're just having a grand old time. Like, things are not adding up. You know what I mean? That's the whole point of this channel. We don't tell you what to think. I never have. We give you the receipts and let you wrestle with the questions yourself.
But the likelihood of him coming out of, say, I see someone mentioning he could come out of witness protection. You guys, the likelihood of him coming back into public view as Charlie Kirk with the Charlie Kirk look is like zilch. Okay. That would defeat the purpose of everything. That would put a bigger target on him than ever existed before.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I could be wrong.
As we get further along, for sure, I've always kind of been on the camp that he's dead in general, but I also leave open the door that it makes a lot of sense if he wasn't as well. So I'm not the type to make a full decision on something like that unless it can be so significantly proven, where I could see a dead body and I can see like the gravesite or whatever. And it's not just Charlie. Like, I have a lot of these. So, but yeah, like I said, you know, we all wrestle with this. It's hard. For anyone to have like as much research as we have done into this case, to me, it's very hard to just 100% definitively say that he's dead and gone forever, as far as executed, just based off. But maybe I've just looked too deep into it. But again, he's not coming back. And Christ and King indeed surrendered. Thank you. We'll keep on digging. We appreciate it. Butterfly coming in with a banger. $4.99 for the love of God. Go away, Erika. Go home. Why would anyone give standing ovation for a liar who's faking gay? She makes skin crawl. Throw up a little when I hear her. Throw up a little when I hear her, says Butterfly. I've been praying for you, Butterfly, just so you know. I did when I saw your super chat, by the way. Butterfly, you came in with that unfiltered energy that I think a lot of the audience is feeling, but might be too polite to say. You know what I mean? And that's a good thing. It's okay. Not that it's bad either, but for the love of God, go away, Erika. Yeah, I've thought a lot of that. We try not to censor in this channel. If people are like, I had to time out somebody earlier because they're talking about this person definitely murdered this person. Like, I'm not about that. You know what I mean? Like, just keep it cool. Like, we can almost say anything, but you don't want to, like, you know, that you don't realize, but the chats can actually do harm to the impressions that push out. But we'll keep stacking receipts and let people like you process the information the way you need to. We appreciate you, Butterfly. Thank you. Philippe, in my opinion, Tyler Boyer, Erika Kirk, and Andrew Colvett. Isn't that crazy how we just got all these like acronyms that we know? And the masterminds behind this operation. Tyler Boyer introduced Erika Kirk to Charlie, Andrew Colvett, and his Philly friends. We not leave this trafficking operation. Well, I will say, you know, I looked it up, the Swedish chrono, roughly $5. Thank you. So, you know, that's a stacked thesis, you know, names we definitely know. The introduction chain, the Boston Philly chain. Keli, we should talk about that one, you know, offline a little bit too, because
there's
just some dots that connect, you know, and we appreciate you bringing that international view, Swedish view on the corkboard. Thank you. What were you going to say? Sorry.
Oh yeah, I mean, it is a tangled web they weave, and that's why we got to have the corkboard and keep up with all their tangled webs.
I know. Now I need to get something. I'm not going to hijack the corkboard, you know. So I got to figure out. I need something now, you know. I don't know. I got to think of that. Thank you. Great job, Keli, says Christy Hughes. Appreciate you, Christy. Thank you very much. Let me see here where we at. Okay. Thank you, Hicks, for the $2. Thank you both, Keli. Very nice outro. Yes, she did a great job.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Glad it resonated with you.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what it's all about. That's kind of feedback that tells us we're calibrated right and that she's doing right. So that type of stuff is important. So thank you. Danks, from D on air. Hey, what's up, D? $10. Good to see you again. D says, D just gave us a receipt of the day. Quote, Danks, happy to see you blowing up. So deserved. Kelly, great reporting. Have y'all peeped Erika Kirk's X post from 2025? Not all year until 9/8, then 9/9, and then the morning of 9/10. Cryptic Bible quotes. Yeah, I watched that video actually, where she actually did an Instagram video. I think it was the day before Charlie, and I think it was just her voice and like snapshots of quotes on, and I think she was doing like some type of Bible study thing, or Bible quotes at the very least. And I don't know if it was X or Instagram. I thought it was Instagram, but yeah, I definitely saw it. It definitely seemed cryptic, but it is investigative gold. I saw it before. It'd be interesting to maybe find those again. I never really talked about them. Have you seen these?
Yes. Yeah. And they're among my, so y'all, I have so many, I'm lucky that I can put things on the air. I'm telling you what, single mama trying to like take care of the kids, and there's always some disaster happening. On Easter, Brock broke his arm. My 7-year-old broke his arm. And so anyway, but I was planning to do a show about the Easter eggs that Charlie and Erika had left for us prior to 9/10. And among those things are looking at the social media posts, and there is a treasure trove of little oddities along the way. So yes, their social media is filled with symbolic posts.
Hey, you telling me, man. Well, D, thank you again. You just earned yourself a research credit. I need to get like I might do something fun where I can like add research credits on screen. I don't know. That'd be kind of cool, but StreamYard is kind of limited, you know? I would have to use OBS for that. But thank you, D. Good to see you. Philippe with the second banger of the X marks the spot for Charlie. Giggity, giggity. Yeah. Smash and dash, doming up. Yeah. It is a, thanks for that, man. Appreciate you twice today. Yeah, it's kind of dark when you think about it, you know? I mean, I don't know. People don't like thinking about that stuff, but it has to be thought about. That's what's part of the investigation. Butterfly back again, $1.99. Of course, she was in Op, says Butterfly. Disgusting demon. Yeah, you know, I will say I can't say she's that, but you can. Thank you. Good to see you again. Baby J, Danks at MSDD, and I need to talk to you about DD. Okay, so you can put all caps. I think right now my other email is down, so use this one. I'm working on another email for Club Watcher, but you can email me here, all caps, something DD, whatever. Talk to you about DD, all caps. All right, back to this. Nana Turtle. Why is no one investigating Tyler Boyer? He is sus. He could be who is at Fort Huachucuchi. What Huachucuchi?
That's what I used to call it. I used to always call it Fort Hoochie Coochie.
Hoochie Mama.
Nana Turtle, who are you? Have you been talking to me?
Hoochie Mama up in the chat. Hoochie Coochie. I know, huh? That's so funny. Yeah, interesting. You know, I did in my investigation into Tyler fairly enough. I just like to look at the numbers and receipts and stuff. I'm not too big on my personally researching this channel on very high speculative outcomes that I can't really prove. I don't like getting stuck in a rabbit hole. I like to keep it moving and provide facts. But I mean, I have Tyler Boyer's phone number. I talked to him once for comment on his homes and the property and purchasing of all that. And we talked for about an hour, and it was interesting to say the least. Got heated every once in a while. Not heated, but it's not always easy to face your person who's challenging you head on from his perspective, and then me talking to Tyler. So we did talk about it, his purchasing of the properties when Travis and Hilo went out and posted this viral post, did like over 1.5 million views. How did you, and I've also inquired, how did you get all of this property and money and stuff? And what I found out, just so you know, because the audience might not know, is that Tyler Boyer owns a part or a large significant part of the Charlie Kirk show. It is its own business. So the Charlie Kirk show, if you imagine 6 million subs on YouTube, and also the deal with Salem Media, the operation through the foreign agent of Boston, they're getting tons of money. So Tyler Boyer easily could have made couple $1 million just the last 5 years from the Charlie Kirk show. But yeah, other than that, when you talk about hoochie coochie, could be looked into for sure. Thanks for the super chat, Nana. Maybe someone will hand that off. We'll get that research. Felipe is back with the EK. No, this is my first time too. CK, so the whole hand. Oh my gosh. Wow. Man, Sweden out there with the banger, literally. Okay, let me pull that down. Thanks, bro. Bro or broette, dankster, dankette, whatever you might be. B-side.
I mean, she was the one who pulled in that reality clip with her boyfriend, the reality show, whatever tester video, with her boyfriend at the time. She pulls a shirt and she's like, "Come on, sex sells, babe." You know,
right?
Mm.
How did
And
Charlie
then, I
not
don't know.
see these? It's so wild, man.
And then her suggested all the and then let's not forget all of her Instagram captions with her roommate in New York City and with Cabot. I mean, she said a lot of Cabot was kind of involved in that Instagram suggestive caption game too. Anyway.
Yeah, I read a comment in one of my videos, which, I do read a lot of the comments, and they were saying Cabot Phillips and the whole thing, Tyler Boyer, Cabot Phillips, Erika Kirk, like this whole operation. Thought it was very interesting. Definitely not worth throwing out, right? Seaside 499, Danks last week rocked between Blake interview, the Barron show. Subscribe to Keli. Can't wait to catch up. Great show to all in the house. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a great week. It's been an intense week. I've been super busy. A lot of people hitting me up, shows left and right. People talking about my shows left and right, which is new for me. People calling me all kinds of names, which is not that new for me. But yeah, no, I appreciate you. I think there was like a 5-hour live stream yesterday on DD, and DD had got a podcast with Blake, and I think a lot of it was about me. I decided not to watch. I feel like enough of Blake for me personally, but
yeah.
Thank you for the super chat. What's up, Julie? So I've just been saying Julie because the name says just say Julie, and like the first 5 times I kept saying just say Julie. So now I just say Julie.
That sounds like a Barron joke. I'm just gonna say that. You delivered it just like Barron.
Maybe he's rubbing off on me.
Yes.
Great collab. Appreciate both of you and your work. Chaos is a life changer. Highly recommend Christ is King. Christ is King. I love it. Yeah, I will. Okay, Chaos might be the first. I'm gonna order it today. I'll put it on my Amazon list right now. Chaos book. Yeah, I got it right here. Book 4 of the 10 series. I think, or is it book 1 of 4 beneath the Seekers? Luna Mason, right? Let me see. Oh, yeah. Okay, it's book 1 of 4. Okay. Is it this one? Here, let me pull it up. Let me know in the chat. because I haven't even seen it. I just heard about it. Is it this one? This one right here? Chaos, Luna Mason. Let me know. I'm watching the chat. Looks like it is. Yeah, I think if it's Luna Mason, and then if we look at Tom O'Neill. Okay. Tom O'Neill. Oh, okay. Chaos. Oh, there's a bunch of Chaos books. Okay. Well, the other one looked good too. A New Life in a New State, Living Up to My Name, The King of Chaos. Maybe this is a love story. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't. Okay. Anyways, let's back out. Thank you. I will pick it up. You said Tom O'Neill. I'll definitely cop that. I appreciate you. Puck Pfizer, $5. Possible plan, creative name. Nice try. PP. All right. Possible plan. CK's was intentional because didn't want EK 2028 war plus more. Assume public will get on the board. EK fake hers during term. They blame the left or what? Or everyone. Cancel free speech. Yeah, you don't have to pick a side at that point, huh? Woo! That's worth a screenshot.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
CK's was intentional because didn't want EK 2028 plus war plus more. Assume public will get on board. So then if not, EK fakes hers during the term that they're running. They blame everyone and then cancel free speech. That's called a prophecy. We'll see. Interesting. Thanks for the super chat. Surrendered $5. They hated him from the start and they used him. There was no reason for them to keep him alive. I'm willing to listen, but I see how much they hated him. Yeah, I hear you. What do you think about that? Do you think they hated him?
So, okay. No. Because they used the heck out of him, but here's a little preview into where I'm kind of going with all of this is, and it's complex, it's multi-layered. And so again, like I caution anybody from just like judging based on this, 40-second synopsis, right? But some of the little tidbits that I want you to consider are when you think about that video, I know it'll come to your mind of the night of the election when Charlie's like sitting at his microphone. I think he's got a Trump hat on and he's like starting to cry or get emotional because they've just announced that Trump has won the election. Like he looks like overcome with emotion. Erika is starting to like come over at his shoulder. He just looks like relieved and overcome with emotion. To me, that is the look of someone who's like, my job is done. Almost like my job is done. Like I can get out of here now. And so that's kind of one of the jumping off points that I'm working from. Kind of like with the Rob McCoy thing, with that quote, it was something that really like was an important, trigger for me. That moment when I saw that relief, it was like, oh, now I can like exit and get out of here. There was something unique about that. So there's a whole lot of symbolism going on too. But that one, the fact that he then right away became part of the transition team. Okay. He was so critical to the White House that he was responsible for literally interviewing and placing all of the transition team and all of the people who would become part of Trump's inner circle in the White House. And so like, why would someone who was so, dispensable, right? Just in that case, to me, Charlie would be the perfect person to be like, okay, well, Cash, I'm going to put you in here because, you're going to be overseeing my exit. And, Bongino, you're going to be overseeing my exit. And Bondi, you're going to be overseeing, all of these different people are going to be like, he knows that these are all the people who can be on his team and Trump's team. So, again, it's going to be, it'll make a lot more sense when I can put the whole thing together, but that's just kind of what I'm working with.
Yeah. I hear you. Like I said, I lean dead, right? But the morning behavior, multiple people of the inner circle basically read genuine when they're not sad. I don't know when you look at it. But the secession pattern Keli laid out today fits a real death pattern better than it fits a faked one, because there's no clean operational reason to fake a death and simultaneously hand the organization to someone you would have to bring in on the secret, right? That's doubles your exposure for no benefit. But here's what keeps the door open for me is the tense issue that someone flagged earlier, I think Tornado, EK husband, Erika Kirk saying is my husband instead of was. There's a lot of cryptic things, like the cryptic biblical text that was on her post that she did, that D earlier found, that, and also no activity until that leading up to this. The Hillsdale honorary degree announced 11 days, like however many days after. What was it? Was that recently? It was recently, right? This honorary degree.
She just received it on Saturday, but it was announced at Charlie's memorial service 11 days after 9/10.
Yeah,
it was announced on September 21st at his memorial service, the big one.
Yeah. Then you think about the pastor, Rob McCoy, giving the widow an expiration date, resurrect the ashes language from Erika herself. Like, those are not nothing. You know what I mean? Those are receipts that demand we keep the question open, right? So, I don't know, repositioning him as a martyr to amplify the movement and escaping a position that was about to expose him or push back against the government, restructuring TPUSA without his veto power, any one of those could be true. So none of them are proven. And that's really the distinction that this channel really lives on, is like, I can't make a decision because with the receipts that I have, I'm not able to, right? So to everyone in the room, if you believe he's dead, which I am with you right now, if you believe he's alive, I also hear you and I am listening, right? If you do not know, you are doing the work the right way. That's how I see it. And it's okay to believe in either one. I don't, this is what I will say, and I will commit to on camera, is that the moment a receipt drops that moves the needle in the direction, I'll cover it. We do not pick a team and defend it. I follow the evidence. It's my channel. Literally, my slogan is facts over feelings, receipts over narratives. That is the standard. And it cuts in all directions, including against my own working positions. What do you think, Keli?
Yeah, I see there are some people in the chat who are saying proof, please. And what I've been saying is literally, I can't lay all of the proof for you out just to answer this one question right now. I'm telling you that I am working on putting out a story for you. I just finished one story. I'm just I'm just explaining where I'm going with my future story. But what I can't tell you is, even like a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, she she skipped out on another one of her Make Heaven Crowded tour stops at Prestonwood Baptist in Dallas, Texas. And she it was
I again, they can't. Oh, sorry for my dog.
Very good.
She cannot get past me on the internet for the most part when she makes a speech, because I'm like Johnny on the spot, you know. I'm like live streaming. If there's a live stream, I'm recording it. So anyway, I recorded this live stream from Dallas, and of course she didn't show up. Thank God I didn't go drive up there. And anyway, she talks about she makes this really bizarre, it's like 7 minutes. I need to actually post it on YouTube, but I do have it on my X. And anyway, she makes this bizarre like analogy talking about Easter. Instead of Easter Sunday, she's talking about Saturday, and she's talking about waiting outside of the tomb, like crying outside of the tomb before the stone is rolled away. And this analogy basically to imply that maybe, you know, he is risen, that we're like living in this interim time. And so I'll just tell you guys that there is something to all of these words that are being said.
Yeah, that makes sense. You know what I mean? There's definitely something going on with the words that are being said, to say the least, right? So
it doesn't mean that it's going to come true. I'm just telling you that it's in her mind. This is what is being said. This is what is being said.
Yeah, for sure. I hear you, girl. I hear you. All right, let's keep it moving. Sorry on this. I had to respond to this real quick. Okay. Where are we at? All right, Surrendered. Thank you, Surrendered. Michelle Catania. Even I don't know what I would personally do if that was me in that position, so he may not even have ever thought about it. Speaking of what exactly? About Erika being the interim or the actually replacement? I wish I knew what you were talking about, Michelle. Dang it. What time was that? That was 12:35. Damn, I wish I knew. I'm sorry. I wish I could answer that. Thank you, though, for the super chat. D on air, back again. $5 through $10 earlier. $5 today. $5 now. There's a video with an artifact that is beyond cams do weird things. It's the only thing that makes me question if it was faked. I'll send it to y'all. Perfect. Yeah, please do. You can drop me here, all caps, video of artifacts. That'd be helpful. Thank you, D. Good to see you again. Welcome back. Welcome back. Surrendered again with another banger, $10. Speaking of critical thinking, if he was in on it, he wouldn't have turned against them. There would have been no reason for him to leave. Yes, I can give you many reasons why he would leave. You want to say anything first?
Go for it.
Yeah, they were already under investigation. They were going to, there's a project, you can look at it on the internet. Just type in Arctic Frost. It was an investigation into the entire political right. They were investigating 92 Republican leaning entities, especially into nonprofits. I think the number one target was Charlie Kirk and TPUSA. They already have a massive federal docket or documentation of the case itself, all of the alleged crimes that they have committed. Once you remove, this is just one, besides all of the other things that I've talked about at extent here earlier about him not only pushing back against Iran, against Boston, against all of the stuff going on in the Middle East, what would be coming of the data centers, all of that stuff, because he would be a massive voice for the dissident, because it looked like he was going that direction to be a dissident. And then he has access to the White House. Okay. And then if you look into the actual investigation that is documented from 2022, before Trump got into office, they were in a deep operation investigating all of the finances and all of the activities of Turning Point USA. They remove him, and then this is what benefits from him being removed. TPUSA keeps their their tax exempt status so that they can continue to get, this is critical thinking. We're talking about critical thinking. All of the tax exempt status, this is what happens if he stays and they all go to prison, even if it's temporary. Even if Trump, people have said also, well, Trump could just pardon them. Well, they still have to face state charges, okay? Which is what Tyler Boyer and Jake Hoffman, along with others, are currently facing. They were pardoned federally, but they're still facing state charges, okay? So if they were found criminally liable for anything, all of the people that were on the board and that approved any of these financial irregularities to go through and profit from it, they'd all go to jail. They'd all have to pay back, if not jail, at the very least, pay back 225% excise tax. On top of it, they would lose their tax exempt status on a company that is literally printing billions of dollars out of thin air. It's free money. They don't have to pay taxes. They get it from donors. They don't have to sell anything, so you don't have to raise any merch or sell anything product. You just have a person and that's it. So that is the number one thing. You're talking about at least 8, 10, 12 people that don't go to jail. And then not only that, if they found financial irregularities, like if you go watch this channel and go look at the Charlie Kirk investigation from early on all the way up for the first 2 months, all I did was investigate their finances. And I found irregularities, allegedly, in my opinion, perhaps. So just one person, let's name Stacey Sheridan. She has 3 companies that was actually taking money, okay, as a business while being on the board as a special employee who is a director getting paid by the company, had 3 companies that is collecting a salary, and she's taken up to $9 million as a commission on top of her bonus, on top of her job salary. Okay, that's illegal. It's called double dipping. It's called double dealing.
Like double
Self-dealing.
dipping times 3. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just one person. You've got John McGovern. You've got all kinds of people that, in my opinion, it looks like double self-dealing, okay? That is just a small example of all the financial irregularities. How about Tyler Boyer owning Superfeed, being on the board of Superfeed, and then giving Turning Point USA application operations and running their business without being paid, but they're using Tyler Boyer as their payment. It's illegal. It's not legal to do that, okay? They've admitted into quid pro quo. That's what it is. Sorry if I get passionate about it. I'm not yelling at you or anything.
It's crazy to me. And like, to tie this back into the education thing that we were talking about earlier, when they announced that TPUSA was going to be allowed to come into high schools in Texas, our lieutenant governor announced he was sharing $1 million of his campaign finance money. He was going to be donating that to TPUSA. Well, what do you think happened? That $1 million went to TPUSA. They turned it back around, and that $1 million came right back in to Texas elections. And so it's just literally, this is how we call laundering the money, and it's just that when you really start to take a look at, man, this is how the world goes round. Yeah. It's important that we open our eyes and get pissed off, ask questions, because otherwise it's just going to keep happening and nothing is going to change.
So then why? So think about this. So why remove him? Why does that matter? Because if they remove the CEO, the one whose signature is on all of the Form 990s for all 4 companies, by the way, the same as America's Turning Point, who paid some random company almost half, 48% of their entire annual income to a company for research, and then that company closes down. A couple of years later, opens up a registered foreign agent for Boston. You're just giving money out left and right. Not only that, they're paying tens of thousands of dollars for an Experience Boston project, which is in the Middle East, for a company who is, their mission statement is all American. Why would you be paying the Middle East for anything? It's not, you have to, there are laws to nonprofit. The reason is because us as Americans contribute $500 billion every single year to nonprofits. And if they are not careful, this type of stuff will go rampant. So there are laws against self-dealing. There's a law against going against your mission statement when you're saying you're for America, but then paying a foreign government for an experience with donor money that's being tax-free, tax-funded. Think about it. All right. So that's the level of critical thinking that I'm at. Not to say that you're not, but like I'm trying to help you open up your eyes and say, well, if they had to face some charge like that and they were able to remove the person and then they all play dumb and say, yeah, we didn't know. We thought this was all above board. Charlie was the CEO. Then it all gets wiped clean. That's why he has to be removed. That's what I think. You know, that's all I can say is that's what I think. I don't know for sure, but that's for sure what I think. You know?
And I think that when we started the stream, at least it's been almost 2.5 hours. So if I didn't say this, you know, I think that I did, but like my leading theory is that I believe that he is alive. I still maintain space for the possibility that he's not. And, you know, my secondary theory would be that it was a sacrifice, you know, and that, and that's dark, and I get it. And I'm chasing all of that down. So, you know, all I can say is stay tuned, but either way, this thing has so many legs. That's why we are still investigating day in, day out. And, you know, that's why so many of us, you know, it takes a whole lot of folks, and there's a whole lot of disinformation running around out there. And we are working with limited actual information too in an AI world.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I had a meeting and I forgot.
Okay, well, we can wrap it up. I know we were.
No, we got to go through these super chats. No, it's okay. It's fine.
Okay,
They're already.
okay.
It's too late anyway, so no big deal. I'll call them later. Okay, but yeah, hopefully that answers your question on the thoughts that I had regarding that. You know what I mean? People need to know, like, there's a lot more than that meets the eye. Lindsay Ray, great job, Keli and Danks. If CK is alive, then we are definitely living in the upside down. What I don't get is the 180 TPUSA is done if CK is alive. Yeah, I hear you. One other thing I will say is if you go and look at their board of directors, this is the longest that they've ever kept somebody on the board of directors. You could keep them on as founder, but if you go to their website, why is Charlie still on the board of directors? Maybe that we don't know everything, you know? So it's like there could be something there that we just don't know. Maybe if he was, I'm not saying this is true, but if you're going to go on the camp of he's alive, then maybe he did do his job to get this built up to an entity that is sizable enough, you know, if I were to think, but I don't know. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but if you're thinking about doing his job, getting it to a size where they could just take over, remove him, and maybe all along it's hard to say. Candace doesn't think so, obviously. I don't know him. She knew him better, so I'll take her word for it over just my random thoughts. But I appreciate it. Yeah, I agree. The 180 is ridiculous. It's wild.
I think that if I could just piggyback on that real quick, is that I think it makes a lot of sense, actually, because if they were continuing on doing exactly the same thing, this gives them, I've done some research into it, and I think they needed to have a shift. They needed to have a narrative shift. They needed to have a
in order
narrative
to go the direction. Well, I don't know why he would start
because
pushing
otherwise
against.
it would have been easier for people to say, oh, Charlie's still controlling the ship. You know, he's still manning the ship behind the scenes. And now, like, because it seems that it's gone a different direction, right? Then the case could be made that, oh, you know, Charlie must be off the board.
Yeah, it is interesting for sure. I mean, it's just wild. Like, you think that, like, let's just play the advocate here of that. He was alive. He is alive. Say this. Say he was alive still. And pushing against Boston is part of the plan to maybe persuade the opposite after he dies, maybe, like, to gain sympathy for them. Like, it's so we really don't know. Like there's a deep state. Like I proved that yesterday. The deep state is operating these data centers. And we already know anyways. They've admitted it. So they are thinking well in advance. It's kind of crazy if you think about how much is going on. I don't know. That's why we're here, man. We're all like trying to figure this shit out. It's wild, you know. Keli Panther, $9.99. Kaylee Panther, sorry. Appreciate your time and all of these deep dives. Thank you. Great show. Thank you. I appreciate you. Butterfly back again. $1.99. Thank you for your prayers. Christ is King indeed. Great job, Kelly. Thank you, Butterfly. Make sure you give Kelly a follow at Keli Rabon with an I. All right. As a member of Barrett's high IQ jury, in your opinion, what would be the purpose of Charlie faking his death? I think I just answered it. If that is the case, if he did, I'm not saying he did, if he did though, you remove all of implication of Turning Point USA and you remove the number one person you would need to in order to get out of any criminal indictment at all, or at the very least, it would be a lot less and serious since you don't have the CEO, and then they could all just pawn it off on him, right? Go back and watch the channel.
And what if it was an op the entire time? What if TPUSA was an op the whole time? Just going to throw that out there. What if it was a money laundering op this entire time? I'm going to let that sink.
Could be. Yeah, I don't know. You know, it's people don't want to. It reminds me of like people get upset when when you raise these questions. Like, I'm not here to make people happy. I'm here to look for the truth. And you have to ask some of the hardest questions that people just don't want to ask, right? Obviously, since 2018 up till today, I've looked at all of their financials. To me, it's very strange. And if you've ever looked at Form 990s and insurance and interest and taxation documentation, when you look, I put it all on my channel. You can go look. If you look at the Charlie Kirk investigation playlist, because it's all there, it's like 70 videos. But if you scroll back to the beginning, a lot of them, the videos, are all financial stuff. Go look. It's from the beginning. It's from when Tyler Boyer, or when from 2018, basically from when he met Erika Kirk, or Erika Fronsby back then. And you'll see. You'll definitely see. I would hate to see that, but you have to ask the question, right?
Yeah. I mean, if the entire time it was never really, really, really about politics so much as, it was like politics was maybe secondary. If the primary reason was to move money around and maybe do some influence, but really move around money, tax deductions, all of those things, man. And then it felt like it was time to end the operation. Then why would they care the direction of TPUSA now? Run it into the ground. Let it burn.
Yeah. Why not? That'd be like actually the smartest thing to do if they already were under investigation. Why not?
Let it burn.
Let it burn, baby. This is a good comment. Sadly, I don't believe we will ever know everything or even anything except our own personal feelings. 100%. I agree. But thank you for being here, Arnn Vandy, high IQ jury in the house. Yeah, I know Barron has talked about it, and like I said, I lean closer towards the death thing, but I am very open to I'm like almost 50-50, so it's like, thank you for the word. Oh, look at the banger. Because I looked up what the, this is $50 right here. Thank you, Maria. Maria with wrinkles, 9542. I'm trying to see what that image is that you got going on there. Is that like a nun? But thank you for the work you put in for the truth to come out. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. I appreciate it. It means a lot. I am literally an agent for truth, man. Like I can't say anything else. Like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Actually, I think like 40% of people that watch this channel are not subscribed. So I'd appreciate that. And thank you so much for the big super chat. It means a lot. Anne Marie back again. No, don't buy the book. I'm sending it with the blanket. I bought one too many. Oh, thank you. You're the best, dude. So we're having a baby boy in August. So far, that's what they said. August 15th, I think, or 10th. And she's crocheting a blanket for my baby boy. So I'm super excited about that. All right. I won't buy it. I will wait. Thank you. Good to know. Thank you, Anne Marie. Keep focusing. $1.99 says, I think Lori MK'd Erika with the dads. Ooh, interesting theory. Very concerning, if so, for sure. Thanks for the Super Texas Alley Cat. $4.99. Do y'all know what day Erika Kirk found Jesus? I do not. But that's interesting.
No, if you find that out, let us know. I guess it depends what. I don't even know.
I'm going to find out. I'm going to try to find out. Thanks for the super good question. Ambrian became a YouTube member. Welcome, Ambrian. Saturday mornings, it's only 99 cents to be a Dankster. Saturdays, you get your own private live stream with your boy. Who wouldn't want that? Don't tell my wife. No, I'm kidding. No, we have a good time. Imagine you are happy. $1.99. You two together. Awesome. Can't replace Charlie Kirk. Lives forever. 100%. God bless. Thank you so much. Stacy Noble, $9.99. What's up, Stace? That's where I stand. If you and or your bus./organizations committed any crimes, you pay the consequences like the rest of us peons, Crisis King. Yeah. I hope that's true, but I highly doubt it at this point.
That's right. Especially given that IRS letter, the way she got that IRS letter, like lickety split, like right before she went on CBS with Barry Weiss, man, she got that like just in time. So that way everybody could know she was in the clear.
Yeah, in the clear indeed. So ridiculous. Thank you for the super chat, Stacy. And another one. Stacy Noble.
And another one.
Another one. All of this gives weight to if you can't beat them. If you can't beat them, join them. You know, I'm just saying. She's just saying. Americans for Nonprofit Transparency. I learned all the scams. I learned them all. No, I'm kidding. I would never. I've thought about, so if you don't know about AmericansForTransparency.org, you definitely want to go check that out. That is where we expose. Oh, did I really misspell that? Holy smokes. What is going on? Americans for Transparency. Transparency. There we go. Yeah, AFNPT.org or at AFNPT.org on X. You can keep up to date with the investigations that I'm doing, AFNPT.org or AmericansForTransparency.org. That is where we expose the government for insider, outsider, government infiltration financially and operations from a favorite ally you may know very well. Thank you, Stacy. We appreciate your super chat. We love you all. Thank you. I've got to bounce. We've had a great show today. And again, please go follow at Keli, K-E here. Let me put a banner up real quick for Keli. At Keli Rabon on all accounts.
I just have to laugh at this Philippe comment. It's hilarious.
Which one? I didn't see it.
Did you see it?
I gotta scroll down.
Philippe, here. It's let's see. It's like 1 minute ago. For
this one?
Yeah.
Is where the train honey pots, Cash would know, allegedly, maybe, perhaps, and Keli has the hair EK wish she had. I know, bro. Erika be looking ratty sometimes, huh?
I just had to give a shout out for something that it was a funny note to end on.
I like it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for the show. We appreciate you being here. Join us on Saturday. Join me on Saturdays for our members only live streams. I will hope to see you then. Until next time, we'll catch you later. Follow Keli. Follow your boy Danks. Peace.
Thanks for having me, Danks.
My pleasure. Thanks for joining. See you guys. Bye. Oh, we almost ended it. Pete coming through. Danks, Keli, John Bray dropped something new in the last couple of days. Smoke from under CK's shirt Haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I've seen it. I saw it before that, but yeah, definitely worth looking at. I
Gotta
saw
take a closer
before.
look. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
we'll have to look again. I saw it a while ago, but I'll look again. Thank you, Pete. All right, we'll catch you guys later.